One.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Snake Talk. We had a last week off, so we are back at it tonight, and we're going to have a great time. It's always good to see you guys and get a chance to just chit-chat. Life is so insanely busy right now with a million things going on. We will be, I think we're going to be here next Saturday as well, I believe. Let me look at my calendar. Yeah, we'll be here next Saturday. So we got 2 weeks in a row. We're going to have Snake Talk. Don't know exactly. Maybe Lori will jump on next week. Let me know in the chat if you guys want to see a Snake Talk with Lori, myself, and of course Jay in the control room.
What's up, guys?
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. The week after that, we're actually going to be at Aqua Shella. I'm pretty excited about this. It's down in Texas. It's a aquarium show. Really cool. We did one in Orlando. It was awesome. Super fun.
Yeah.
And so we were invited down. We're going to do that. We'll tool around a little bit in Texas. And then ultimately we're going to zip over to Florida before we head home. So we'll probably miss one podcast after next weekend just because we're going to be traveling. But you guys get a couple travel shows in. So I don't know how long we're going to stay in Florida. Basically, I'm going down to Florida just to do one last scout for AnimalCon. So we're going to meet with the hotel people. It's the last little boring stuff that, no one really wants to talk about in the sense like how many chairs do we need? How many tables do we need? Where
it's not
do
as
we
flashy,
need this,
right?
Yeah, it's not going to be a lot of fun. So I don't think that there's going to be a vlog that will be vlogging there by any stretch of the imagination. But listen, AnimalCon is literally 5 weeks from yesterday.
Can you believe that?
5 weeks from yesterday, it goes off. We're getting close with a lot of things that we needed to achieve. I think there'll be a little bit of a mad dash the last couple weeks. I'm sure there'll be a million things that come up in the last couple weeks that are like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? We don't know what we're doing. Is this going to work? But overall, very happy. Again, there's always going to be issues, with you name it. We've had a couple people that unfortunately had some scheduling issues that came up, like one friend of mine, Max Strong. I'm so bummed out. He's not going to be able to be there because he he has a wedding that he didn't realize. He's out-of-state wedding. He thought it was in September. It turns out it's in August, and so he's not going to be able to be there. And then I was also pretty bummed that Ken and Harkin is committed to going to Pandemonium, which is up in Chicago. Unfortunately, that was the one event. So the only event that I know of, besides maybe a little reptile show somewhere in the country, because there's a reptile show every weekend in the country. The only event that I know of is Pandemonium, which is up in Chicago. Pandemonium is like a pond contractors expo, not even an expo. It's more like a bunch of talks, a bunch of it's
more like a convention, right?
It's more like a convention, but it's held at I think it's usually held at Aquascape. It might be at a hotel, I can't remember, but obviously there's not going to be a lot of crossover between pond contractors and AnimalCon, but unfortunately, because I wish it wasn't, because Greg Woodstock and Ed are great friends of mine from Aquascape, and they wanted to be down at AnimalCon, but unfortunately they have Pandemonium, which is their big event that happens just only once a year, and they've been doing this event for I think 15 or 20 years, something like that. So it was a bummer when we finally, when I reached out to Greg and I was like, hey man, he's like, yeah, I want to come, this is going to be awesome. He's like, oh, wait a second. That's our Pandemonium. And I was like, oh, that sucks.
Of course.
But unfortunately, Greg literally has built like $150,000 worth of ponds in Kennan's backyard. So obviously, Kennan has no choice but to be loyal to that, which is completely understandable. And Kennan said, he goes, hey, I'd rather be in Florida where I'm from than have to fly to Chicago to do Pandemonium. Although you'll have a great time at Pandemonium, I'm sure, as well. And I've been to Pandemonium. It's a really cool event too. So next year we're going to try to make sure that we don't conflict with anything and stuff like that. But things are going along. I know we've got a couple super chats, guys. You guys always have to guide the ship. We'll talk about all kinds of stuff tonight, but please hit me up with supers. I know Silvercat's been a minute. So
he says AnimalCon getting closer. Can't wait.
It is getting closer. Like I said, 5 weeks from now. Listen, it's one of those situations that is like unbelievably exciting and absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, dude.
But I got done reading a book. I'm reading another book right now that I like. I've never read this. I can't believe I've never read it. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's a ginormous business book that I think almost every businessman has read besides me. So I'm reading that, but I just got done with another book, before, and it said if you're in business and you're not terrified of something you're doing, you're really not pushing the envelope, right? You should almost always be in a state of fear, but not have it overcome you, right? And again, the same book actually had this. I love this statement. Fear is what's the fear is false.
Oh no, that's an acronym.
Yeah, it's an acronym. It's false. Gosh, I got it. I can't remember what it is. It was on the tip of my tongue. So I'm sorry. I'll try to.
You're good.
False. What was it? I can't remember what it was. But anyways, I think it was like false information appearing. It doesn't matter. Or no, yeah, false
appearing something.
What's E? False evidence appearing real. That's what it's. False evidence appearing real is fear. That was what it was. So there you go.
It's kind of like anxiety, right? It's the fear of stuff that will never possibly happen.
Yeah, and I remember reading when I was in the depths of anxiety that 99% of what we are fearful of never comes to fruition.
Yep.
So we're anticipating things that are never going to happen and actually living in fear of things that will never happen. And so in business, you should always be kind of in some fearful state, because that means that you're pushing the envelope. That means you're getting to a point where
maybe someone hasn't been before or something.
Right. And listen, AnimalCon is a ginormous financial risk.
Yeah.
How that financially pans out, we don't know yet, because I talked with George, who is the promoter of Aqua Shella. The event will be in August 4th, 5th, 6th, and which, by the way, I'm really excited about the event, not only because I like the event. Some of the attendees from Aqua Shella will be at AnimalCon, which is cool.
Sick.
A couple of them aren't going to be there, which is a little bit of a bummer, because I talked to them early on and they were like, yeah, I'm in, and then they never committed to coming, which is a little bit of a bummer. And then there's like a couple that like wanted to come, but they had some kind of scheduling thing, so they couldn't come and stuff like that. Now, George, the promoter, he has like 1.3 million or something like that on YouTube. He's coming to AnimalCon.
Sick.
But he said that 80% of the tickets that he sells for Aqua Shella happened in the last 2 weeks.
Of course, because people don't plan anything anymore.
So it's like last minute, like, okay, let's go, So we have seen ticket sales increase over the last 2 to 3 weeks. We assume that the next, few weeks are going to be better, and then the last week or two will hopefully really crush the last ticket sales, and that's going to be determinative of whether I lose money or make money or break even. But it doesn't really even matter to me, because it's about the event, and it's about, I just want to make it. I've said that I want to make it a fun, respectable event that people want to come back to.
Yeah.
Whether that means it's a slam dunk and we crushed it and we sold out and we're whatever, or it turns out to be like, okay, we didn't sell out, but we still sold a lot of tickets, and it was a really great thing, and everyone really loved it, and everyone's like, yep, I'm coming back next year. Because this is the thing. I want 10 years from now to be celebrating the 10th annual AnimalCon. And I think that, the people that may be sad on this one, that was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to this first one. Because listen, first-time events are always a little bit frightening for promoters, for sponsors, for attendees, for creators.
Yeah, of course.
But once you get one or two behind you, then everyone's like, oh, you got to go to AnimalCon.
Yeah, it's a
you got to
proof
go
of
to
concept.
AnimalCon. Got to go to AnimalCon. And then it'll be a situation where we're not like, and listen, I'm telling you guys, you have no idea how much effort I put into getting those 103 creators. I literally talked to every single person on the phone. I begged, borrowed, and stealed. Some case I had to barter tremendously, saying, hey, you come to my thing, I'm going to do this for you. I really wanted to make this an amazing event. I think that, as years go on here, it's going to go the other way, where people are going to be coming to me like, please let me come in. I want to be part of AnimalCon. So that's all I'm curious or motivated to, is to have this a great show, have it be amazing, have the creators have a great time, have the fans have a great time, have my sponsors have the great time, everyone that's involved have an absolutely great time. So that's where we're at with it. And
soon,
and soon enough, we'll be talking about. Guess what? Next week is AnimalCon.
It's crazy,
and we'll be hitting the road to drive down to Florida. Obviously, we're driving down because we have a bunch of stuff to take down there. Lori and everyone else will be flying in. We'll have I don't know who in the crew. Noah will definitely be with us. Obviously, Jay will be with us. Lori's going to be with us. I don't know if Mike will be down there or not. I'd love it. I know Jay Tingle is going to be down.
Oh, sick.
So he's coming down. So we're going to try to see if we can get Mike down as well, so that all the at least people on our vlog are down there. And then we have a couple other people behind the scenes that work on social with us that'll be down there as well. So we have a pretty decent crew that'll be with us. But that is, so it's coming up close, man. So
exciting.
Exciting. So let's hit these supers. And
we got a bunch. So.
Yeah, and we'll keep crushing the supers, guys. It's I'm here for you. I'll answer any questions you got. We can talk snakes. We can talk business. We can talk AnimalCon. We can talk expansion to some extent.
Yeah, a little bit.
There's gosh, when I drop this on you,
they
guys,
don't know, dude.
You know. So it's interesting. I'm going to tease you guys a little bit. Ryan from Orlando.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, actually, he's from Tampa. I always say he's from Orlando.
He's from Orlando in our eyes.
In our eyes, he's from Orlando. I have him in my phone, Ryan from Orlando.
Yeah.
But he's from Tampa. It goes back to that, like, hey, you know where Tampa is? I'm nowhere.
Honestly, yeah, it's even better.
I'm nowhere near that.
Even better.
So, anyways, he called me up and was like, yeah, so what's happening with the expansion, And I haven't told many people outside of our crew what actually is happening.
Because it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big... And like when I laid it on him, he was like, what?
Yeah.
He's like,
it's unreal.
I had no idea what you were about to embark on. He's like, blown away,
Yeah.
So you guys are going to be pretty smoked when you hear what looks like is going to happen and how it's going to come through. So, but we can talk about the expansion a little bit, but there are some things I just can't say because of some contractual things that are in process right now.
Castilla says, just sending you some love. You guys rock.
Thank you,
rock.
Castilla. You rock too. Every day you comment on the vlog, and I always appreciate it. Another person, Becky, that comments on the vlog every day. I appreciate you guys. We have such a great, not only chat gang here on the podcast, but also people. I look forward to that first hour of comments because although I've been loving this last little bit, there's been a lot of people I don't recognize in the comments.
Which is really cool, and I agree with you,
Yeah, but we still have, Becky and Castilla and Jane and Tiff and everybody, all the people that, Anna, Lindsay and everyone else that, Vanessa, and all those people, they comment every morning. And it, of course, we got Randy that is, every day he comments, day 453.
I know, I love him, dude.
And he's here local. That's the thing.
Is he really?
He's a local guy. He lives like within a couple miles.
Didn't even know that,
dude.
dude.
So he's been to the Reptarium a couple times, but yeah,
Sweetheart.
So he's a local guy.
Becky says, I need this podcast tonight. Hey, everyone. Well, you got it.
Well, we're here for you, and she's healing up from foot surgery.
Oh, that's right. I hope you're feeling
fast.
and
I mean, that just got to be tough, man. I mean, it's got to be hard because I think she messaged me and said that she had like 9 weeks that she's left. She's already been a couple weeks, and she has like 9 weeks left before she can even put any weight on it.
That's fine.
So that's just a long time. Mentally, it's got to be challenging.
And during the summer
too,
right?
Stuff. Yeah.
Like it's a heavy one for sure.
But I'm sure that if the outcome is worth it, this there will be a time 2-3 years from now. This will seem like a blip, know?
Yep.
And that's what you got to look at it. And that's one of the things I did with my anxiety at times is that I would fast forward in time, right? Like, let's say I had an anxious event coming up. I would mentally fast forward to after that event and how I would feel after event. Now, the AnimalCon's that way to some extent. I want to enjoy AnimalCon the most I possibly can, but there's a tremendous amount of stress that goes into to get promoting this and getting it ready to go.
And the most you're going to enjoy it is like once you close up and you can remember all the stuff too, right?
As much as like it's going to be amazing while it's happening, there's no doubt that when we leave Gatorland Sunday night,
that's what I'm saying, dude.
That's probably when I'm going to enjoy it the most because it'll be like,
yeah,
because it's going to be like, oh my God, we did it. It was this vision that I had for something. We put loads of action behind this vision, achieved it. Hopefully successfully. I think it will be successful. And then we can sit back and just go, wow, we did it. This is amazing. And then we can say, well, we have 12 months to do it again.
Yeah.
And for a month or so, I said, I've got a lot going on in September. We're heading out to Utah. We've got, several things going on in September. We got some company coming in September, a couple different sets of company coming in September. So we got some things going on, but there will be some point in September/October where I'm going to take a mental break, where it's going to be like, okay, I mean, we're going to be deep into the expansion project at that point, pretty deep, I think, or at least getting pretty deep. So that'll be, obviously a big stressor on my plate too, but that's exciting. That's an exciting stressor. And so, yeah, but there'll be some time that I have to go, all right, Brian, we have been killing it the last several months, where it's like every moment of every day is just so packed. Even with our Armin coming this week.
Right.
You know, I mean, he even said, he goes, my gosh, he goes, you just have so much on your plate.
Dude.
You know, it's like you have so much on your plate, and it's nonstop constantly. So there'll be a time where I can sit back and go, wow. Okay, let's take a couple days and just like chill and
relax.
And, even if we're just vlogging, I mean that's fun, you know. But all these other meetings and this and that and being here, being there, doing all this other stuff, calling 1 million people for AnimalCon, you know, it's been an interesting adventure to say the least.
Drew says for the Pied Berm Fund.
Drew,
we're starting that now.
Yeah, we I obviously have been talking with Berm Donor, and we're going to get some berms from him, you know, for future education animals and expansion stuff. So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, I told him that he had a pied female berm, but it's pretty low white. It was a year late. If I'm only going to get one, I'm only getting one, right? Yep. I'm not getting 5. I'm not getting, you know, I'm getting one. Dream. I'm not trying to breed them. I'm not trying to make money. I just want the pied berm I want to get, much like Neo, our pied retic. That was the pied retic I wanted to get. I got it. I'm happy. I don't need another pied retic. I'm super satisfied with that one. So,
and that's a good way for you people at home too. Like if you're looking into getting into reptiles or save your money and buy the one you really want, because you're going to buy it sometime. So instead of having 6 carpet pythons, just get the Bolins. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Exactly.
Mama Tomsky says, "Do you smell me chilling with the grand dog, snuggling here for Jay's birthday, 29 on the 29th?" I know.
29th is coming up. Man.
I'm claiming 30 already.
Yeah,
by
man.
the way.
He's like 30.
Everyone's like, "How old are you?" 30.
Might as well be 30 at this point.
I love it, dude. It sounds really official now.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And then Eric says, "Hey, Brian, just send some love. And have you heard that they are trying to outlaw king snakes in the South?"
Yeah, there's something about, I don't know, it wasn't the South. It was a particular state in the South that was trying to outlaw king snakes. I think maybe it was Alabama.
I was going to say Alabama's been like real heavy with legislation.
I think it was Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I find really interesting that's going on right now, and I'm a little bit miffed on this, because even like some people that I like a lot have kind of went on the offensive against USARK and USARK Florida, and I find it kind of interesting that that's happening right now.
So like, what is it that they're like? What is their
people are talking about, like, you know, all their fear mongering for a money grab. They're just trying to get money from you, so they're fear mongering. And listen, I think that there's two sides to that story, right? There's always a gray area, right? Like,
of course.
I think that right now things do look very grim for Florida. If you read the tea leaves, right? And what I mean by that specifically is if you take what the commissioner for the FWC is saying, if he implements what he says, it looks very bad, right? I mean, he said at a meeting, we're going on the offensive against these animals, and we want to prevent the next Burmese python, the next tegu, the next iguana. And that means that we're going to take any animal that could potentially live in Florida and we're going to outlaw that. That comes right from the commissioner. That's not USARK, puffery. That's not Kevin McCurley saying something that he didn't that comes from the FWC's commissioner, right? Now, can he do it? I mean, first off, you got to remember they're executive branch, so he doesn't have to get this passed. No Congress has to do it. No one has to vote on it. No one has to, basically just the committee has to vote. And the committee right now is following the commissioner. The only person that can actually disrupt this is DeSantis, which is the governor, because the FWC only answers to the governor of Florida, whether it's DeSantis or whoever comes in after DeSantis, if DeSantis doesn't run or, goes for president or whatever the case may do. So if you read those tea leaves, you say, yeah, I mean, things look pretty bad in Florida. Right. But things can't. We don't want to be so ominous to say like it's already banned, because all kinds of things can happen. For some reason, DeSantis could get involved and say, because DeSantis, love him or dislike him, and I think he's done some really good things and he's done some really bad things in his gubernatorial situation, but he has been pro-business, always. He's a pro-business governor. And if I think that he gets wind of the fact that, listen, he wants to protect his Everglades. He wants to protect everything from invasive animals. Obviously, we all do. We all do. Anyone that says that we don't want to protect or there's not an invasive problem, they're an idiot, right? We know that there's an invasive problem with Burmese pythons, a bunch of stuff. I mean, there's rainbow boas down there now, tons of different lizard species,
whatever,
fish species, chameleons,
birds, parrots.
Yeah, birds, all kinds of different stuff. So we all want that problem to go away. It's not going to go away, and we'd like to prevent the next problem 100%. I think we're all on board with that. But I'm hoping that if DeSantis ever, and I think eventually he will get word of this, that he realizes that you know how many businesses are in Florida. I mean,
countless, dude.
Pet shops, wholesalers, importers, private zoos, breeders. All that would be devastated. I mean, we're talking probably hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer money would be wiped off the board immediately if the FWC were to outlaw everything that they say that they want to outlaw. And if you really think about when they make the statement, if it can live in Florida, we don't want it to be legal.
That's everything.
What can't live in Florida? That is a reptile. And we're talking, obviously, birds and
I mean, literally almost every animal could live in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, there's just whatever gets on this white list that they're, projecting that they want to do is going to be a pretty small number of animals, right? So my point is that I don't know why people would be thinking that USARK Florida or USARK National is fear-mongering, because there's a very high likelihood that this could go through. Interestingly enough, there are some people in Florida not only are going against USARK Florida and USARK National, saying, don't listen to them, their fear-monger is not going to happen, don't give them money, they're just trying to money grab. Not only is that happening, but then there's some other people that I've spoken to, the Florida, big players in Florida, by the way, that just were kind of ambivalent that this was even happening. Like, they didn't know anything about it. They're like, what are you talking about?
Weird.
This is going on. Now, I'm not trying to fear-monger. I really am not. That's not what I do. I think that there's always hope until the very end, right? And my hope is that, really all we need, in all honesty, is the commissioner for the FWC to be, no longer the commissioner, right? And then if someone else steps in that is less radical, all this goes away. You know what I mean? Then we're back to where we're at, status quo. And really the way the FWC, in my eyes, obviously it's an important organization for a lot of reasons. All fish and wildlife and DNRs and so like that have a purpose. But over the last maybe 10 years, it's been an interesting thing where they have kind of looked at their animal hobby, in particular reptile hobby, but I'm sure if you were in the fish hobby, you'd be saying it's the fish hobby.
Right.
I don't know as much about that. But they've started to take this very adversarial role against us, like we're enemies. Right? And that's weird. That's weird to me, because it didn't used to be that way. I imported reptiles for 15 years and worked with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and they were always very cordial and very willing to work with me and very receptive when I had hey, could we do this a little different? But they were never like, you're a criminal and we're trying to put you out of business. It seems like that's changed over the last 10 years, and there seems to be this kind of us against them.
That's kind of how almost everything in the world is, right? Is like one group versus another group. It's got to be black and white, Yeah. Which is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. So anyways, point is that I think it's a little bit interesting that there's this
new narrative popping up.
This new narrative that's popped up. And I think that, so there was this list that came out from USARK. I believe it went to USARK and then ultimately got released by USARK Florida. That was basically what the FW said were animals that they were specifically very concerned about. And ball pythons and bearded dragons were on that list.
That's huge, dude.
And a ton of other stuff. It was 3-4 pages of animals that they said they were very concerned with. And the problem with it is that it was a memorandum that was, I don't know if it was, a Freedom of Information Act or it was presented to USARK by FWC, but there wasn't a real chain of it didn't live on the FWC, right? And they have something that they call tag meetings, right? And in these tag meetings, you're not allowed to record them. So there's no record of the FWC's tag meetings. There's no verbal records, there's no written records, and there's no video records. So whatever's being said at these tag meetings, which reptile people can attend a tag meeting, it's all hearsay because there's no proof. And that's kind of what's happened with this list of concerned animals is that there's no real, like, you can't say, oh, this came from the FWC site because it didn't. But it did come from the FWC to USARK.
It's more like a leak almost,
Yeah, or a freedom of information. I'm not exactly sure. But the problem is that a lot of reptile people are now saying, like, they don't think that list is even true, that was like a USARK made that list up. Which is, it's just, I think it's just weird that, like, why are reptile people against USARK?
It's really scary,
like it doesn't make any sense. You know, it's like gun people being against the NRA. You know what I mean? It's the exact same thing. Like, the NRA is going to protect rights of guns, and if you're a gun person, you're going to support the NRA. USARK is for keeping reptiles legally and working to save laws that would prevent keeping reptiles. So why would you be against USARK? Like, it doesn't even make sense. And again, I'd say 99.9% of these people that are saying USARK is a money grab, this and that, they're not donating any money anyways.
Right.
So, like, what do you care? You're not going to support them. I give them thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a year. I will continue to do that because I believe in them and I believe that they're well underfunded for this battle, and if we don't do this, we're going to be in trouble. And listen, I do believe that where Florida dies, the whole industry dies, I mean, not only are 90% of the importation come through Florida, but also that's where all the massive, like, everything Florida is kind of the epicenter of reptiles. You take away Florida, and I don't think the reptile hobby is a shell of that. Not to mention we start to set a precedent. I guarantee you, whatever Florida passes, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, all those states pass. All the southeastern
almost
states,
immediately.
Within 6 months, they all pass the same thing. So we're going to lose a third of our country. Yeah. Probably within a year if Florida does outlaw all these reptiles. Now the North and the Northeast and the Northwest, maybe we'd be safe, but if we've lost all the South, what is that? That's not a victory.
No.
Just because I'm up north, I don't go, oh, well, it doesn't bother me.
No, because who knows how long it takes to get here? It could be quick too, or to California, to Arizona, to Nevada, right? Like,
right, yeah. So it's something to be very concerned with, and I think it's interesting. And I'd be happy to offer the olive branch to some of the people that have been against USARK and have a conversation on this podcast if you'd like, and have a very open and cordial conversation why you think USARK is a money grab and actually stealing money from people, and why I think they aren't. And maybe we could, maybe it'd be a really interesting way to see both things. So if anyone wants to do that, if you've been hearing somebody that's been touting the fact that USARK is a false and money grab, and you think that they should be on the podcast, please tell them to reach out to me. I'll literally fly them up on my dime, and we'll have that conversation on the podcast. So let me know what you guys think. So I'm off my soapbox.
Nah, you're good, dude. That's important. MTS says, are there any snake species that use constriction or venom or don't use constriction or venom to kill prey?
Yeah, there's really three. I say this sometimes when at the Reptarium. I say, if you want to get really basic, super basic, there are three types of snakes in the world, right? There are venomous snakes, there are constrictor snakes, and there are snakes that eat their prey live, right? And now those snakes that eat their prey live, some would consider to have some sort of venom. Like, say, garter snakes, for instance, are an animal that eat their prey live. They don't constrict, they don't have venom, but there is a camp of scientists that believe garter snakes have some venom.
That's what I've heard too, yeah.
So
hognose too, right?
Well, hognose definitely have venom,
right? But they also
eat live, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But there are some snakes that definitely eat live prey that are not constrictors and do not have venom, or at least don't appear to have a venom. And you got to remember, venom is the problem with like what's venomous and what's not venomous is that
there's a blurred line.
Yeah, it's a very blurred line because venom is just advanced proteins in saliva. Right, that's all it is. Yeah. Now, venomous front-fin venomous snakes have a pressurized delivery system that injects venom. But that has nothing to do with the actual protein that's in. It's still a type of saliva that is actually just injected through a pressurized system.
Yeah.
And it's just an advanced protein, whether it be neurotoxin, hemotoxin, cytotoxin, myotoxin, whatever toxin.
Even humans have a slight, enzyme that allows you to break down food before you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just advanced.
Exactly. But theoretically, there are 3 types of snakes: venomous snakes, constricting snakes, and snakes that eat their prey live. I mean, that's very basic.
Yeah. Is there any ones that thrash their prey to death, like just move, like shake them around a little bit?
I don't think snake wise. I've never. I mean, I guess if anything, maybe Cribos.
I was gonna say I feel like I've seen Cribos do that, but I don't know if they're just doing it to get it down quicker or something.
I don't think that they're really like thrashing as much as like they'll smash it.
Yeah.
They'll like take it and like smash it against the side of the cage.
Yeah, that's
even
cool.
if it's a frozen rat. If it's a frozen rat, they're just like
almost like RJ with the chicken.
Yeah,
Boom.
Yeah. But yeah. So yes.
Very cool.
So that's your answer. Yes.
And Morris says, not to change the subject, but have you reconsidered making me a deal on a pumpkin ball yet? Sorry, just working on goals. Damn.
Listen, I think we'll produce some pretty cool pumpkin balls this year.
Can't wait.
The question is just going to be, do I wait one more year till I prove out a super form? Because next year, hopefully, we can prove a super out. And then have a little bit of a better understanding about what exactly is going on with the pumpkins.
Because what if you like bred it, there's a super and it's way crazy, right?
Yeah, it's like,
and then you're like, oh no, I messed up.
It's it's a tough one, right? Because I'm not like
in the game,
in the breeding game to the extent like the pumpkin ball was just something that popped up in my collection.
That's so cool though.
So I don't if I ended up selling a couple this year. And they turned out to come and bite me, and they bought by selling them too soon. I wouldn't be that devastated because I'm not looking to sell $15,000 snakes in the future. So yeah, just stay in touch with me, man.
Heidi says, just send some love. Wish I was there.
Hey Heidi, what's going on? We wish you were there.
Just talking about you the other day.
Yeah, we were, and we can't wait till we can get over to South Africa.
South Africa, yeah. I've been waiting. I've been working on my accent. We're going.
I know we're waiting. I've been eating biltong every day. Just,
I wish, dude.
Just to get ready for South Africa. Of course, Ryan and from Primitive Predators over with Dingo today.
Is he?
So yeah, so
that's awesome.
So they're hanging out with the dingo.
Dingo, mate.
Dingo.
Oh man, good.
But
good
yeah,
man.
I can't wait to. He'll be at AnimalCon. Cannot wait to hang out with Dingo. So he's always he's just a good dude, man. He's a good dude, man. He should be, in my opinion, should be one of the most watched YouTubers on the planet, in my opinion. But I'm just a huge fan of Dingo and everything he brings to the table.
JG says you need to add a normal retic to the Reptarium.
I don't have. I had a normal retic named Slim Jim, but we actually did sell it. I don't disagree.
I love normal retics,
I don't disagree that it's not. We have a normal Burmese, right?
What about getting a dwarf though, so that you can show that like there's insular islands that change the size of a snake?
I like dwarfs. I think they're good, and I think that for people that want a retic that don't want a big retic, that's a great option. For me, I think for the Reptarium, big snakes are going to be better.
Oh, of course.
And I don't know that there's going to be that much 1%. 1% of the 1% is going to care that there's an insular island that's small. You know what I mean? It's like most people, when you start to go, look at this retic here and look at this retic here, they're the same thing, but this one's for me. Their eyes just glaze over, and they're just like, can I see Perdita?
Please, she's so pretty.
Yeah, can I just take out Perdita now? So that's why I probably, I'm not going to probably add a dwarf.
Eric says, it must be Alabama because that's where I live, and I heard it from my local pet shop. I thought it might have been other places too.
Yeah, just Alabama is, I think, the one that is, and the verbiage is like really weird. I think the verbiage is, it's so loose, it says king snakes, whereas I think that they were trying to specifically go after California king snakes because, apparently, from what I could see, there was at least a handful of wild Cal kings that were found in the wild. I don't know if they've established a breeding group. Of course, Cal Kings are going to be very different than Burmese pythons because they have 6 to 10 eggs.
And they're a much smaller animal.
Much smaller animal. They're not going to devastate the wildlife. You guys in Alabama already have king snakes, so really the Cal Kings are just going to be competing for the same food that the other king snakes are. So I don't see that being like an
ecological devastating issue. Obviously, no matter what, it sucks, but it's not going to be terrible.
Right. Yeah, but so yeah, I mean, but the verbiage was so loose, and that's what happens a lot of times when you get into legislation is that the legislators that are proposing these bills, they don't understand the difference between a cow king and a Florida king and a whatever other king. You know, they just go like king snakes, and then it's just this wide brush of like Mexican black kings, and every other king snake on the planet becomes, you know, the same,
which is crazy,
the same brush, and that's just from a lack of knowledge. You know, they don't understand it. You know.
Tiffany's going to have me do this again, you know. She says, how's the baby frillies doing? Little Busy will be the name, so then I'll have Lizzie, Fizzy, Jizzy, Mizzy, Sizzy, Kizzy, and Busy. Much love. You just love making me say that, dude.
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
you. That's awesome.
So the frillies are doing great. I think the hardest thing is going to be about the frillies is what to decide what to do with them, you know. We've got like, you know, obviously we've got like 3 animal educators here that all want one. We've got 5. You know, we got 3 animal educators here that want one. But I don't know for sure that they're going to, they just say they want one. I don't know if they actually are going to want one or not. You take it. And then, you know, I probably want to keep at least 1 or 2. So it's going to be hard. And they're so darn cute.
They're so cute. I want to keep them all.
It's hard to get rid of them. It really is. It's
it's not something we breed a lot. So like it's special, right? Like it's
right. Although I do think Lilith's about ready to lay another clutch. So
no way.
So that would help out a lot if we had 10 babies as opposed to 5. Then,
I could parcel them out a bit.
Then it's a lot easier to figure out what to do with them. But we'll keep you posted for sure.
Lindsay says,
Lindsay, what's up?
It's been a long time since I listened. Jay, saying hi, Brian and Jay. Hope AnimalCon is a very successful event.
Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate you. Yeah, she doesn't support us at all.
At all. Long time since she even listened.
She's just watching Ken and Harkin.
Yeah, we're just an echo in her house, like, you know.
After I'm done watching Ken, and I'll watch Brian. No, I'm kidding. She's great. Lindsay's great.
Yeah,
she always is. You know, matter of fact, the 2 bracelets I have on my hand are both from her.
Both Lindsay's.
Both Lindsay's bracelets. So
weighing them down.
Yep, exactly. I look at them every day, all day, thinking about the balance in life, which is completely out of balance.
Yeah. So thanks. I was like, what do you don't look at them at all then, dog.
Thanks, Lindsay, for messing me up. But they're supposed to be balanced, so yeah.
The thought's nice.
Yeah.
Scottish Rob says, with USARK, they're projecting that will happen if things pass in Florida, which both history and common sense shows that legislators do constantly. Happy B-Day, Jay. Tomorrow I turned 46.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Scottish Rob.
Thank you. Happy birthday,
tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, you know, again, the only difference with that statement is that the FWC doesn't have to go through legislation, which makes it even a much more difficult thing, right?
Yeah.
Is they just have to go through their commission and their board of commissioners. So that's you know, it's that, you know, if the commissioner is like, hey, we need to do this, you know, there's not going to be too much opposition, you know, from that group, and from every, you know, thing that I've seen from that board, it doesn't seem like anyone's in opposition
at all
with making more strict laws. So yeah, we're probably gonna be in a world of hurt down there if something major doesn't change. The question is just, you know, when is it going to happen? How quickly is it going to happen? And is there enough time that maybe the commission changes by time, you know,
those
it
things
goes
go through,
like,
yeah.
and I don't even know, you know, this is lack of knowledge on my behalf, is that I don't even know what the term is. You know, do you get voted in? Is it a term that once your term is up? I have no idea what, you know, how you become on the board of commissioners or a commissioner of the FWC. Maybe it's appointed by DeSantos. I'm not 100% sure how that works. So I should really learn that so that I have a better understanding of what the possibility is.
It says, I looked it up right here. It says the FWC's 7 commissioners are appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Florida Senate for 5-year terms.
5-year terms. Does it say by any chance how long the commissioner's been in now?
I'll look right now while you're talking.
Yeah, because I wonder, you know, you figure, I think DeSantos been about 4 years since he was in the governor, something on that line. So maybe the commissioner is in his last year. That would be amazing, you know, because once he goes out, if someone else comes in that has a different ideology, that could change everything, you know. So, you know, that's all.
2020. That's what it looks like. So you still got 3 years.
It looks like, yeah, 3 years, and by 3 years, he's got plenty of time to make his agenda go through, which is not good for
us.
I
guess the biggest thing is to get DeSantis' like attention is the most important role.
And it's tough because,
right?
I mean, that's, again, now that I know that information, which I didn't, and I apologize
you're okay.
being ignorant to it, is that, you know, if DeSantos actually appointed this guy,
then it's a weird
it's going to be a little bit hard
right?
that he's not going to smack the guy down and say, no, you can't do this.
But that tax money is a big deal, right? Like, I mean, obviously Florida has a great tourism, but nonetheless, like hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions of dollars coming out of taxes is huge. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and I guess it's just going to be a matter of like, would he weigh the difference? Like, we may lose hundreds of millions of dollars worth of tax dollars, but we're going to gain from an ecological damage standpoint. We're going to gain. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know anyone that's not going to South Florida because of Burmese pythons. You know, I mean, I don't think any families are like, I'm not going down there.
I can't go down there with the big snakes.
Because my family's going to get eaten. You know?
Yeah.
Now, God hope this never happens. And, the first person that gets killed by Burmese, then all bets are off. Then it's like it's a totally different situation. Do I think that's ever going to happen? I really don't, because Burmese would rather flee from you than and Burmese. Now, reticulated python's a different situation to some extent, but Burmese don't really eat prey.
I don't think I've heard of that, right? In the wild, like, have you ever heard of a Burm eating a person in Burma?
I have not heard.
Myanmar.
Yeah. I haven't heard of anyone being.
Me neither. Only
but
retics.
That doesn't mean that doesn't happen. But
right.
But yeah, I don't. Burms typically do like smaller meals, more frequent, whereas retics definitely eat bigger meals, less frequent. So same thing with African rock pythons. So and I know that there are obviously some rock pythons in the Everglades as well, but they're not as nearly as prolific as Burms, and I would imagine that will probably happen with the rock python feral population, is that they'll probably integrate with Burmese pythons. As a matter of fact, I remember, I think it was Nat Geo, that great network that's supposed to be about, biology and conservation. They did, I think it was called the killer super snake.
Oh God.
You want to look that up? It was like killer super snake, like show from Nat Geo. Yeah, Nat Geo. I think it was Nat Geo.
World's deadliest super snakes.
I think it was World's Deadliest Super. No, I don't know what it was. But it talked about hybridization. It talked about the hybridization between rock pythons and Burmese pythons, and they basically had more or less said that they thought it would act like a liger. Where when you bred Burmese and retics, or Burmese and rock pythons, that you would then have a gigantic, it would unleash, because for those of you guys that don't know, ligers, basically for whatever reason, it unlocks this like growth gene, and a liger will grow to sometimes twice the size of a tiger or a lion.
Which is insane.
The
only thing I found was that super snake on the loose.
Yeah.
But that's it.
That was probably what it was.
I bet.
The python hunters are on the case, yeah.
But do any other animals even do that, the liger trick? I've never heard of it.
I don't know of anybody, know of any that do. Of course, I could be mistaken, but yeah, to think that, and listen, I'm positive people have hybridized rock pythons and Burmese pythons in captivity. There's Borneo bat eaters, which of course retics and Burmese, and those they actually stay smaller than most retics and Burms. So I don't think, it was just kind of an asinine show for them to do out of, just hype.
And that Geo, that's a hard one, because they're usually the more legit.
They're supposed to be like the legit.
They yell at you for editing photos, man.
Yeah. So they're supposed to be like, high caliber, but they're not so much.
Adam says, want a request to move into the Reptarium. Well, there you go.
Just move in.
You've requested, just wants to move. Just wants to sleep here.
Just sleep here. I mean, we got some extra cages. Did you hear Brillo broke his glass today?
Today, no.
Yeah. Thankfully, my guy literally came out and fixed the glass before we opened.
No way, dude.
But Brillo, broke his.
What did he do? He just hit it?
He's got his claw in the thing to try to open it, and he's so strong.
He's so
strong. That's why, I always tell our educators, it's important. You got to close the glass to where he can't get his nail in there.
Yep.
If he gets his nail in there, he has such powerful claws.
I mean, that's what they're meant for, is to break through rocks.
So I shattered his glass today. So, but we got it.
Glad you got it fixed quick though.
Yeah, it was a little bit scary, And by the way, keep the super chats coming, guys.
You guys are crushing today.
Because if you guys don't, I'm gonna make this into a half-hour podcast.
And we're out of here.
We're going to go have fun. No, I'm just kidding. We're already past the half hour. So, but yeah, if you guys have any other questions, and we'll continue to jabber about other things too.
Timothy says, Boega and puffing snake updates. Yeah. Much love, you guys.
Yeah, we just, well, I mean, as far as Boega, everything's doing well. We've got, obviously, Divergence.
Cyania.
Yeah, it's interesting. I can't remember how I always pronounce it Cyania, but I guess it's called like Cyania.
Cyania. I like that.
Is the way it's actually
like
pronounced.
Cyania.
Yeah, Cyania. So we have Cyania, we have Divergence, we have Melanota, Drosophila, and Multicincta.
Gemicincta.
And Gemicincta. So they're all doing great. I mean, I love them to death.
Yeah,
definitely.
Dude, they're so
really
sick.
cool. And then puffing snakes, I mean, we just have one. That's all we got. It was a captive-born male. He's getting big, and he's cool. I actually did it's not on TikTok yet, but we shot a TikTok video of it. Just a couple days ago of it puffing up and stuff like that. So it's probably maybe 4 foot now. They'll get like 7-8 foot. So
I can't wait.
It's about halfway grown right now, but it's a really, really cool snake.
Tiffany came back to say, I am committed, so one can come to me.
I knew you were committed. You should be committed.
That's awesome, dude.
To the insane
asylum. Shoot. Yeah. You better be.
You should be committed.
That's awesome.
You keep it up. I'm going to.
With all the Jizzy Lizzies and Vizzy Zissies.
I know, with all the Jizzy stuff going on in your place.
Who knows what's over there, man?
I don't even know what's going on in that damn house. But yeah.
And then JG says you should keep one of the male baby anacondas and pair him with Verde. That is, if Lori allows it. She won't.
I think. Yeah, it's an interesting thing what's going to happen with the anacondas. I mean, obviously right now they just started shedding out. So I think most of them are out of shed now, which is pretty cool. I think we're definitely going to keep something in that, ilk. But I don't know that I may not even keep a male.
Well, I'm going to keep a male. So
So Jay will have a male. So if I ever need to breed him again in the future, I don't know that I'll ever breed in the future anacondas again. I said it was a bucket list thing for me to breed, and I didn't really necessarily want to breed more, to be honest with you.
It's hard to trust people with a giant snake, and that needs a lot of water, right?
Yeah, that needs care. I mean, they shouldn't be in a 4 foot by 2 foot cage with a water bowl, No,
I don't think so.
When they're big, they should be in an aquatic. Once we moved our anacondas into the aquatic enclosure,
they opened up.
They just, I mean, they changed their whole personality changes. They spend all their time in the water, except when they're maybe digesting. Well, what's interesting is right after they feed, they go to the water because I think the buoyancy helps them feel better. And then they'll go on to land a couple days later to kind of go on the heat spot to kind of help digest a little bit. Then they'll go back to the water, back to the heat, back to the water.
My favorite's when Ivy, she eats a big meal and she'll sit under the waterfall and just get like a little shiatsu on her,
Yeah, it's literally,
so cute.
It's like she uses the waterfall to help massage the big lump. So
we love it.
Yeah, so we'll probably feed her. I think I'm going to, so she's eating a couple meals, not tomorrow, but Tuesdays. I think it's Tuesday, right? Is that
Wednesdays?
Wednesday's vlog will be her eating her second meal, and then so we'll get her maybe 2-3 more meals in, and then we'll feed her a giant meal to really start beefing her back up and stuff like that. But she's really, it's interesting. She's went back to the old Ivy. Like when she was gravid, we took her out a couple times, not when she was full blown gravid, but when she was like starting to go. And she was starting to musk a lot.
Yeah.
She was really whatever. Now she's back to the old Ivy where you can take her out. She doesn't musk. She loves to be out. She hangs on you. She
comes up to you when you touch her. Literally, if you go over to her enclosure sometimes and you're just like, hey, Ivy, she'll start looking at you and come over to you.
Yeah,
it's
she'll
adorable.
come over to the, it's anacondas are crazy. Obviously Ariana did that to us today. I was doing a piece about Ivy, and Ariana literally crawls up like what's going on? Just like hanging
and it's so weird because we're around them all the time, but you don't know if it looks like she's coming to bite you. It looks like your food, and then
because they come with some pretty quick action.
their tongues all out the whole time.
Yeah, they're just like,
and then they come up to you and they just chill. It's very strange.
They're one of the weirder animals I've ever worked with.
I agree.
No doubt about it. But yeah, so we'll obviously try to get these guys eating first. Socialize them as much as we can to try to get them to calm down. They're already getting better. I was messing with some today actually, and they weren't nearly as bad as what they were. So I think we'll get them tamed down pretty quick.
Rowan Your Boat. Love that name. It says, what are your opinions on carpet ball python hybrids popping up in the hobby? I did see a cool one the other day, actually, too.
Yeah, I mean, they've been kind of around for a bit, to be honest with you.
Do they have a name? Like, you know, how Bat Eater and all stuff?
I think that they call them...
If you don't remember, it's fine.
I can't remember what they call them, actually. Car balls or something like... Or is it... Well, no, it's something bomb, I think. Actually, like carpet bomb or something like that.
That's cool.
I think that's what they originally were called. I don't know if they've changed the name now, but that was, I think Kevin McCurley was like the first one that did it, and he called it something like the carpet bomb
would be a good one. Yeah,
I think that was what he originally called it. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not a fan of hybrids, but I'm not against hybrids, right? So. I
wouldn't do it personally.
Yeah, I don't personally want a hybrid. I mean, although Carpondros...
Carp ball.
What is it? Is that
carp ball? That's what I see.
Okay, carp ball.
I like carpet bomb better. We're changing it now.
Yeah, I think that was like the first stuff. Again, now it's different. But
yeah.
Like there's like the wall, which is the Woma ball.
Yep.
And super balls or blood balls. Yeah, Borneo bat eaters. But again, I'm not against. I don't look at people that do hybridization and look down at them and say like it's an abomination.
Yeah.
I just personally wouldn't do it because I just don't. I think there's so many beautiful naturally occurring animals, and then there are mutations, color mutations of those naturally occurring animals that we don't really need to hybridize.
Yeah.
I guess the only concern I have with hybridization, and we've seen it happen in the colubrid world much more because more colubrids are hybridized than there are pythons, is that you get an animal, let's say like a caramel corn, or I'm sorry, creamsicle corn.
Yeah.
That is actually an emery rat snake, corn snake cross. But now, 15 years later, 20 years later, no one even knows there's emery in them.
They just call them
So they just call them corn snakes. And so, really corn snakes don't have that color palette. You can't get an orange albino corn snake. You have to have emery influence in order to get that.
Yeah.
But now people don't even realize that the origin of that orange creamsicle corn snake, it was actually a hybrid. And that's my concern, is that as long as people are represented, like when you have a carpondro, which is a carpet python, green tree python, which I think is some of the beautiful. Why don't you punch one of those up?
I love them.
They're one of my favorite of the
hybrids.
I had one actually for a while. For some reason, we named it Pedro. I have no idea why we would name
Carpondro. Pedro, the Padro.
Yeah, but it's just,
they're just so pretty, huh?
Ours look like the one that's like down in the center on the black, right? Yeah, that's what ours look like. Ours look just like that.
I mean, how cool is that, though?
Yeah. No, there's some beautiful Carpondros.
Is this one too?
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane, dude.
So I would like totally, have a Carpondro again because I think they're beautiful. But thankfully, with Carpondros, most of them are infertile.
Really? That's kind of cool.
You can't really, people aren't having success breeding Carpondro to Carpondro.
Some heat.
So yeah, there's some beauties there. There's no doubt about that. But there's our boy Ryan.
I know, dude.
So we're just talking about you, Ryan. I don't know if you caught us.
No, he definitely didn't, because I think he's just checking in now.
You should have heard. You're gonna have to listen.
Oh no,
back.
Wait. I think he did. He did. I'm gonna read his first real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah.
He says Ryan from Orlando checking in. So I'm thinking he did hear it. He says, so switching gears, if you were just starting out with investing, and say you had 100K or so, what direction would you go in? And the expansion news is beyond huge, insanely awesome.
Yeah, you know about it, dude. 100K. I mean, listen, there's still probably no better investment than ball pythons, right?
Do you think he means in reptiles, or do you think he means in general, like investing?
I think he thinks in reptiles.
Oh, okay,
because 100K, if you had 100K to invest in just in whatever, there's two really. I mean, obviously real estate is always going to be one of your better investments if you're talking about multifamily, Airbnbs, especially, from a tax standpoint. If you can do some short-term Airbnbs, it helps your tax, burden tremendously. Long-term, rentals are passive income that's taxed at a 13% tax burden, whereas we're at about 37% with our capital gains. So
almost a third.
Yeah. So it's a third of the taxes, and then you have price segregation cost segregation and bonus depreciation. So if you ever get into a position in business where you need, like, you have a tax burden, real estate's always going to be your best, not only because you can create passive income, but you also, can lift that tax burden. And that's why, guys like Donald Trump don't pay taxes, is because he has so much real estate, and that real estate is whatever. But I think you're thinking, animals. And I think that, obviously I know you're into geckos and the thing about, like, let's say the axanthic crested and stuff like that. Right now, they're amazing. And I just talked to someone not too long ago that he said, I think, like, he was like axanthic lily whites were like $20,000 or $15,000 or something.
Yeah, I think
that's
Tiki's we were talking to.
No, this another guy I was just talking to the other day on the phone, a friend of mine from Louisiana. And he had like 6 born this year, and he said all 6 sold like almost immediately, So I mean, he made probably $100,000 or more from crested geckos, So, but my concern is that what's the next tier from 20 or 15 or 20 grand? So once you sell, so like 15 or 20 grand for an axanthic crested gecko, how many people are going to pay that? 15, 20? Once you've hit that 15 or 20 people that would pay that money, what's the next tier? Is it 1,500, 2,000? It's probably lily white range, which is probably a couple $1,000. I mean, when lily whites were consistently being produced, now lily whites are cheaper. But as a matter of fact, our lily white came from Ryan. He donated it, which we love to death. I look at it all the time, and so thank you so much for that. But my point is so do you want to spend $20,000 on a recessive animal that's going to take you? And granted, you can get cresties up in a year and all this other stuff, but it's still going to take you a couple years to produce, unless you buy 2 axanthics. And I don't know if you can breed axanthic to axanthic, and if there's any viability issues with offspring. But it's probably going to take you 2 years to get back. But probably by the time 2 years, the big money has already been made, and it's probably dropped to that next tier. Maybe it's $5,000, maybe it's $2,000, whatever the case is. But if you paid $20,000 or $15,000 for an axanthic, and now you're selling them for 2, you got to make quite a few of them to just even make your money back, let alone be profitable. So, and then, of course, the cappuccinos I don't know what those are selling for now, but those are interesting. So I'm sure there's money in cresteds. I'm not poo-pooing cresteds at all. I don't know the market as well, so I'm going to obviously not have as much, information that I should really. So I shouldn't even talk about it, to be honest with you, because I probably just don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But so I don't want to offend any crested breeders. But I still think ball pythons are the more solid investment. I don't know that I would buy $15,000 ball pythons,
right?
But I think there's a lot of $5,000 ball pythons or $3,000 ball pythons. Stuff like Super Orange Dream, pied stuff. You get into lavender pied stuff. You get into clown pied stuff. Obviously a lot of clown stuff, a lot of pied stuff. You get into those types of things. Right now DG Desert Ghost stuff is super, super hot, and probably going to stay hot for quite some time because of it's just a clean animal that's going to be good. So I mean, you could turn $100K if you're invested properly. You could turn $100K into 500, 600, $700K within 3-4 years easy if you invest it properly, even with a softening market, which we are in a softening market right now. So you've got to also realize now that's the other thing. If you had $100K right now, I would be a little patient, because I think there's going to be some real deals to be had as this year goes on, because I think that sales that were so strong the last 2 or 3 years for multiple reasons, the lockdown, government free money, all that type of stuff. And now we're getting, more into a recessionary economy. Interest rates being up, causes people to tighten up on spending. Obviously, even credit card debt and all that other stuff raises. So people are more afraid to spend the money, I'm saying. So I think there's going to be some real deals. I think that you could buy $200,000 worth of ball pythons this year for $100,000. Compared to what they would have been worth last year. So I still think there's no better investment out there besides ball pythons if you're wise about what you put yourself into. But then you can also diversify. You could throw, I know he loves his geckos, so you could throw some money at geckos. I just am not, I just don't have enough knowledge of that market to know, will, axanthic lily whites and axanthics and cappuccinos still sell for 10,
high money,
10, 15 grand. Now, listen, if they can still sell for 10 or 15 grand 3 or 4 years from now, throw all the money at them, because you could produce that. You could produce a lot more crested geckos in a lot shorter period of time than you can ball pythons. Ball pythons still take 2 or 3 years to get to size, and you're producing 6-8 eggs and once a year. So whereas geckos you can get up super quick and produce. So but there's no doubt. Although my future is obviously moving away from investment breeding of snakes. That's what made me who I am, right? I still will, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for breeding snakes. So I'll never poo-poo breeding snakes, what I mean? Or reptiles, I should say, in general. And I'll always breed reptiles because I love them and I love producing snakes. But I mean, that it was a great stepping stone for me. It made me a lot of money or enough money to invest in the things that I'm passionate about now, diversify, my kind of portfolio in life. And, so I don't think outside of doing something illegal, like selling weed or I guess that's not even illegal most of the time.
Depends, yeah.
It depends on where you're at. But doing something illegal, I don't know how I could have ever made the money that I made in order to invest the money I needed to grow the things that I wanted to in life. Yeah, so breeding reptiles is a great legal way to acquire a good amount of wealth so that you could then diversify your wealth into things that are lifelong wealth or generational wealth.
Yeah, I agree. Charlie says, my family enjoyed being in the vlog with the Ivy birth with little Sammy.
Yeah.
Mike was awesome in person. Any plans to get a pied berm for the zoo? No, none. No plans.
No plans. I hate pied berms.
Yeah,
I hate Burmese No. We were just talking about earlier. I don't know if you caught it or not, Charlie, but we were talking about pied berms earlier, and our friend, a berm donor, was willing to sell us one that was a yearling, and he's going to produce next year. I hope he'll produce next year. He's good with Burmese, and he's got pied, and hats and all that stuff. And he said that I could get the first crack for the highest white one. So I just want a really high white pied Burmese instead of a low white pied. Like some pied berms, just like the original pied retics, were pretty low white, and they're neat, but they don't look, to a person that's walking into the Reptarium, they're not going to really understand that animal is radically different than a normal Burmese. Yeah. But if you get a 50, 60, 70% white one, they know the difference, right?
Yeah.
And so I can't live without a pied Burmese. I've got to have a pied Burmese in my life. And I still am very curious, how they got into the country.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Because they obviously were produced over in Asia. I think the company was called Waterview. And, of course, there's no importation of Burmese pythons into the country because of Lacey. Now, Lacey got overturned when it comes to the interstate travel of Burmese pythons. So now you can sell Burmese, but still importation-wise, all the animals that were on what they call the injurious wildlife list, you couldn't import them into the country anymore. And so I don't know how berms got into the country, but pied berms, but somehow they did, and now they're here.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Sasabek says,
what's up?
He says, Gatorland zip line next month, guys. Miss you too. Brian was just talking about how much you want to do that zip line next month.
I can't wait. No. Listen, there's so many things in life I want to do, and zip line is not one of them.
Not even on the top.
It's not even. See, this is the thing. And I know Matt did it. He was just down at Gatorland last week, and he sent me pictures of him zip lining, and it's, for some people it's fun. You know what I mean? Like listen, I'm not trying to tell you not zip line. If you enjoy zip line, for gosh sake, zip line. I don't want to zip line. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something I'm interested in. I will get nothing out of it, but be terrified. I'm not in particularly afraid of heights. I never have been. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I'm on a 200 foot building at the edge, I get a little queasy.
I think most people would.
I think most people do. But I mean, yeah. I can climb up a scaffolding or a 20-foot ladder, and I'm not afraid to look down, and I'm that stuff doesn't bother me. But when it comes to like those adrenaline roller coasters, zip lines, jumping out of a plane, those things just they don't appeal to me. And I just have no interest in doing it. And there's nothing. It's not like I'm going like I've got to get over this fear to make my life better. If that was the case, if like zip lining somehow helped me get over my fear of something, then I would probably try to zip line.
Right.
But I don't care. you know, and
I'm right there with you, bro.
And you know, I went as I'm sure, you know, anyone that watched the vlog knows I went as far as, you know, Gatorland caused me. They got harnesses on me and they got the helmet on me. They make me walk all the way up there and they attached me to the zip line. And I was like, I'm not, the whole time, from the time they put the first harness on when I was on the ground, I said, I'm not zip lining. And they said, well,
just, you for real? I don't know the behind the scenes story about this.
Yeah. No, literally 100%. Like I was there with Omar Gosh.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, I'm like, no, I don't want to zip line. I'm just not interested in zip lining. They're like, well, let's just put the harness on. Let's just put the harness on. And so I go, all right, that's fine, but I'm not going to zip line. And so then the next thing they go, let's just put the helmet on. I go, that's fine, but I'm not going to zip line. Well, we'll see. And I go, no, we're not going to see. I'm not going to do it. And then they're like, let's just go to the top and then we'll talk about it.
Oh my God.
And I climbed up the ladder. I got to the top. They like clipped me into the zip line and they said, you know, are you sure? Because you're going to probably love this. I said, no, I'm not going to zip line. And they weren't going to push me. They were going to push me off. And so I said, no, I'm not interested. And then they unzipped me and I walked down the ladder and I unharnessed myself and that was the end of it.
That's hysterical,
and
dude.
that was.
I didn't know because when I watched because I've seen that vlog multiple times. It wasn't sold like that as much because you kind of cut right to the zip you were up there. So I just assumed that like maybe you were like, yeah, I'll give it a shot, and then you got up there and were like, hell nah. But that's funny that the whole time you were against it.
The whole time I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to do it. I don't have any interest in it. So now I would do the like. I would and this is the other thing that they were duping me on, right? Is they were like, all you have to do is just one zip line. But
that's not true, though.
It's not true because once you do the one, you've got to do all of them to get down. There's no like escape route after the first one. Like when you've done one, you have to do all 5 or 6 of them, you know, and you're done. You know, I mean, that's all, you know. So so they knew if I would have done one, then I would have been
you
stuck.
Committed to 5 challenges.
I was going and they didn't tell me that till I was back on the ground.
So good.
And they told me that. But at the very end, I think that there's like one of the things where you're still in a harness, you're still on a cable, but like you walk across and it's like 40 feet in the air and you walk across this like little rope like thing.
A via ferrata, they call them.
Yeah, exactly. I would do that.
Yeah, like you remember what Noah and Ant did when we went to St. Louis Aquarium?
Right. Yeah,
kind of like those things, right?
Exactly. Like
I would do that because you have control over it, right? You're all right, well, I'm going to walk across this bridge. When you're on a zip line, you're like, but I mean, that's not that thick of a line, no. I'm a big boy.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I ain't doing that.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I think I wouldn't mind doing that other stuff. But,
no, I get
But
you.
again, it's not like high on my list of like, I'm not an adrenaline junkie, you know? I mean, get me around deadly snakes and lions and crocodiles and I'm all about it. But get me around a
go-kart.
Put me in a damn
a log flume. I swear to God,
not doing it. I'm not tubing in a damn lake.
yeah.
Don't make me tube. I'm not doing it,
dude. You know what I want to do, but I definitely would be terrified. You ever see? I think it's Angel's Landing in Zion.
Oh yeah.
I want to do it so bad, but it looks so scary, dude.
Yeah, it's like that Chinese.
Yeah.
What is it? Chinese? The mountain in China.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think it is China, but I don't know what it's called. But
oh gosh, I wonder if you just even like. Oh yeah, there's Angel's Landing.
Yeah, this terrifying hike, dude. Yeah. You got to go up that.
You can go do Heaven's. Wait a second. What's it called? Heaven's Gate. I think it's called in Hawaii.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Or is it Heaven? Hawaii.
Stairway to Heaven or something.
Stairway to Heaven.
We got it.
But you got it there. But yeah, there's that. No, I would do that.
I would do that.
Yeah.
I would do that easy.
Yeah. But the problem is you can't do it now. Now you get fined for doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so they axed it.
They axed it. That's why I don't like America.
But I would do that, you know.
Because that, like, to me, there's a payoff. It's like, all right, I'm not really hyped about the walking across scary things, but I'm like, all right, well, there's a cool view at the other side. So I'm down to do it. Yeah. And I think I would zip line if, like, you got to a place that no one can go to, I would be down to do it. You know what I mean? Like, imagine there's a cave of retics. Yeah. Would you do it? What if there's like a cave of giant retic, man-eating retics? Would you zip line across a ravine?
I would do it.
I think so.
Yeah, I would. If there was a payoff on the other side and that's the only way you could get there,
I would do it.
Sure, yeah, I think I would do it for sure.
Anthony says, little farther back in the pod catching up, but I wish I could have came to AnimalCon this year. There was no way I could afford it, but definitely next year.
Well, thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you wanting to come, and I appreciate you starting to save up for next year.
It'll be a blast.
Let's hope this year goes off good enough to where we're going to commit to next year. I think we're already like 95% committed to next year.
Yeah.
I mean,
just as long as everything goes with.
Listen, like I said earlier in the podcast that you probably missed is that I hope 10 years from now we're celebrating the 10th year of AnimalCon.
Yeah.
You know, that's my goal, and I wanted it to be a yearly event, and I think it's really, I think it's really good for the animal community. Getting people together that that sometimes wouldn't want to be together.
Right. No,
and I think
right,
that there's going to be some friendships that are in there. There'll be some people that avoid. We have enough space for the creators where if for some reason you walk into a room and you don't want to see someone, there's going to be another room you can go to get away from everybody. We're not going to put creators on panels or Q&As or sessions that don't get along. Although the reason I chuckled a little bit, I probably I don't know if this should be made, public, but I'm going to anyways. Is I was
offered an opportunity.
I was messaging DCBC Exotics, and he did kind of a rebuttal on the Kevin / Chandler debacle, the beef that's going on. And apparently, and I don't know this is the fact, but apparently something like during a live stream that Kevin did, he said something like, well, if Chandler would like sign off, I would get in a ring and kick his ass or something like that. And I think like Chandler like responded something like, I kick your old man. It's like some
it's
kind
Joe
of
Biden versus Trump.
Yeah,
how they did that.
Yeah, it was like something like that. And so he was like, we should get him in a boxing match at AnimalCon. He said that in his video. In his video, he's like, Brian, make this happen. And I messaged him. I said, bro, I would totally be down with that. Downside is, of course, you got, Chandler's still in a wheelchair. He is getting better. I talked to Chandler yesterday, and he's starting to put some weight on the foot. And I think, he said something like, I'll be square dancing in no time or something like that.
That sounds right.
But apparently he said, DCBC said that he messaged Chandler, and Chandler said he would do it at AnimalCon.
With the wheelchair.
Whatever, he's like, I'll do it. He goes, you ask Kevin, I'll do it. Number one, it would be unfair right now. You know what I mean? Like, but I think it would be pretty cool. It would be an event that I would definitely like to see. Now, what I think Chandler and DCBC didn't understand is that Kevin's been like a black belt, like Muay Thai guy for like 20 years. So
he's a murderer.
so Kevin is he may look older and frailer than Chandler, but he has been into martial arts his whole life, and I wouldn't personally, and with the high, they both have the same motor, right? They both are high energy. Like, they'd probably both be like knocked out and still throwing punches. And but it would be pretty funny to promote that event.
We'll see if it happens next year.
Maybe next year we'll make that promotion at AnimalCon next year. I'm not sure. But the truth is that I think that what would be even better is if Chandler and Kevin got in the same room and became friends.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And I think that could happen. I really do, because I think that they have the same ideology. I just think right now egos and a little bit of, Chandler was a little butthurt about a couple things. Kevin was butthurt about a couple things. And now they let their egos kind of get in with each other. And Chandler kind of took the bait, I think, a little bit too. Like initially Chandler, I think, said, like, I'm not going to respond because I'm not going to do anything. And then Chandler kind of got baited into responding. And, I wish he wouldn't have, because I wish it would have just been like, kind of like, let's just get this beef over with.
Yeah, the only beef I want in reptiles should be fed to monitors. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah. Listen, I love both those guys.
Me too.
I have tremendous respect for Kevin. He's one of my dear friends, but I also have a tremendous respect for Chandler.
And if two people that love both those people, then they can love each other. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, I know them both well enough to where, I know Kevin more because we've known each other for so many more years, but I know Chandler well enough to know that they're both good human beings that have, kind hearts and have a passion for the same thing, which is conservation of animals and the spread of education for animals. So I don't know why they shouldn't be beefing. They should not be beefing. And I'm sure when you get right down, if you were to break down why there's a beef between Kevin and Chandler, and you really went to the core of what started it, it was probably the most minor misunderstanding that could ever have happened. And it escalated to the point where now there's this major riff. And AnimalCon, my point is AnimalCon, I think will mend some of those, not Chandler and Kevin this year, because Chandler, well, he might come now, because he wasn't going to come because he was going to have an event at his place, a meetup at his place. But I think now with the circumstances, so maybe he'll show up to AnimalCon, which would be freaking awesome. I would love to have him there, and I would definitely not let there be any, like, I've been pretty clear with all the creators. there won't be any bullshit at my event. You know what I mean? Like if somebody starts something at my event, they will be kicked out and never allowed back. You know, you can hate each other, but that's not on my show. At my show,
hate quietly.
Yeah, hate quietly. But I think that most people, it's like I've always said. You know, I've never met a hater.
Yeah. Because they're only haters behind keyboards.
They're only haters when they're not face to face with you. So I think that even people that aren't exactly eye to eye, when they get in the same room, they'll at least be cordial to one another, and maybe even possibly start to see eye to eye on things. So that's what I hope AnimalCon will do for the community, and I want it to continue to do that, not just this year, but hopefully for the next. And listen, right now there's going to be an opportunity for reptile people to collab with fish people, collab with bird people, collab with tarantula people. Next year, you know, if we bring on, you know, more animals, maybe some, you know, more exotic stuff, big cats. I really want to get shark people in. You know, Andy Brandy was on assignment and couldn't come, you know, which would be a great. Yeah, I know. Like, gosh, he's got to make a living.
Yeah,
he's got
a sharks. Silly family. You
know?
He's
his
making, adorable little family he's got there.
He's got to make Shark Week. Come on, Andy. You know, put your priorities in place.
Yeah,
you know,
AnimalCon.
Yeah, AnimalCon over freaking Discovery every day of the week. No, just joking around. We love Andy so much, and we love his family, and Ace is great.
Dude, I miss Ace, bro.
I miss those guys. So
he's hysterical.
So hopefully Andy and some of his other shark mates will be at next year, and so we want to just grow that beyond just the 4 categories that we're really highlighting this year to maybe, you know, 6, 7, 8, 10 categories next year, and just keep growing this thing forever.
I love it. Jason from More of Mixology says, What's up, dudes? Can't wait for the red Axanthic Phantom Freeway to shed out and eat a few times. I think it's a first.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it.
That's got to be a banger, right?
I saw a picture of it on his Instagram, and it was. You know, I like those gray toned animals. You know, so it's a very gray tone. I mean, it was actually relatively similar to the one that, you know, I mean, completely different genetics wise, but we hatched out a pastel cine lesser leopard het clown.
Oh, it looks similar to that.
It was the same tones as that, just in a highway or freeway, whichever it is. Yeah, freeway.
Oh, that's gonna be a banger.
So pretty cool.
Let's see. We got Maria, our little halibut
what's
fisher.
What's going on? It's got to be. Is it halibut season?
Is it halibut season, Maria? Let us know if it's halibut season. Okay.
Halibut season by now.
She says, "Hey guys, how's my dude Drogo doing? Also, wonder if you're making any progress on Dev selling you his big snake."
Drogo's doing great. As a matter of fact, he's doing really good lately. You know, like he's just seems to be real chill lately, like real happy.
Do you know we're growing crabberry hibiscus at my house?
Are you really?
About that? Yeah, we got a bunch growing. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, he'll love that. That's his favorite thing.
Yeah, Maria brings it in every morning. He loves it.
Oh, so she does give it to him. Yep. Oh my gosh, that's dope.
Yeah. We ordered it from some place in Florida and then just started growing it. You know.
Well, thank you. I didn't know that,
dude. Of course.
And then Dev is just he's
hell bent.
He's hell bent on keeping.
But we're getting that damn snake. Is all I'm saying, dude.
I mean, listen, I'm trying to figure out ways to turn him into the FBI.
Yeah, I got a couple mafiosos looking at him.
We're like, the Dev guy. I've been making up stories. I've been actually creating stories on the internet about him.
Yeah.
So that when I call the FBI, there's actually facts on the internet about all his misdoings.
Yep, photoshopping him in a bunch of really shoddy locations.
Yeah, I literally have him and Epstein together.
Oh, dude, I remember that. I remember him telling us all about that. That was crazy.
Epstein was together. So
So
Dev, we're coming for your snake, man.
Yeah, so you better watch out, brother.
No, but I don't know. One day we'll wear him down. Wear him down.
We're very erosive.
I do love that snake, though. I love his snake.
It's one of my favorites.
He's got a ton of cool snakes, though. But that one's my favorite.
Rachel says, as we watched the vlog this morning, my husband says, Mike looks like Jingle from Zelda, and now I can't unsee it. We have to see. If this looks just like it, I'm calling him Jingle forever, dude.
Jingle from Zelda. I gotta see this. Jingle from Zelda.
I don't see it.
Yeah, let's see.
Is it this guy you saw?
I don't know. There's so many different ones. They all look different.
None of them are even the right one.
They all look different.
Tingle. Okay. She says she came back. She goes, sorry, it's Tingle.
Oh, Tingle.
Because Jingle, I'm like, now they're doing all the songs and shit.
Tingle.
Oh, God. He looks, guess who he's being for Halloween, dude?
Oh, my God.
Dude, if we're dressing... With the goatee, too.
We got to do that in the vlog, man.
Yeah.
Who's a
cosplayer that can make us the outfit?
So think about this, man. Seriously. So obviously, you guys may know, Mike, today's vlog said that Mike's going to be out for 2 weeks from surgery. Starting Tuesday, his last day is Monday. So in the vlog, we're going to have to include this character.
Yeah.
Something to do with Mike.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Something has to do with Mike. Every time we talk about Mike, this character has to come up.
Yeah.
Especially this one all the way to the far right. Down
here?
Yeah, down to right. To your right.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. That one.
That's
That's
Mike to a T, dude, with the squinty eyes and tall eyebrows. And I'm not kidding. If somebody out there is watching and you're a cosplay costume maker, make us the costume. Send it here, and we'll make him wear it every day, dude.
Oh my gosh,
he'll do it,
dude. That was a good.
That's perfect. Thanks, Rachel. You crushed that shit.
That was it, man. That's it. That's a good one.
Wow, I don't even know how to recover from this.
That's a tough one. We're going to never financially recover from this.
Never. I love that it's got a clock on it.
Hey, burn donors in the house.
Oh, sweet. Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, we got some other ones.
Latrocious says, can't wait for AnimalCon.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I thought we were up top.
Let me make sure. I
thought we had some. Yeah, there's one more, isn't there?
No, that was from Rachel. She came back and said, sorry, his name is Tinkle.
Yeah.
But that's why,
That's what I saw, yeah.
Latrocious can't wait for AnimalCon. We can't wait to see you,
I can't
Latrocious.
wait. I know. Latrocious Burns.
Your name's been forever changed, though.
I know. No, it's going to be great to see you. Thank you so much. She was one of the early buyers of the tickets. So,
of course, she's
so we really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be great no matter what happens, even if it's not. Next year's going to be so much better. I'm just going to tell you that. We're going to learn a lot of things not to do in this one. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be issues. It's going to go off, and we're going to have a great time.
Oh,
no matter what happens. But next year we will probably sort out all the problems that we could potentially have this year, because it's
just how it is, dude. That's just how it is.
But at the same time, don't you want to be at the first one?
Yes.
Don't you want to be at the first one to see see it come to life?
Yeah.
And there's zero chance this goes off without something.
Dude, are you kidding? I can't wait to film this shit.
There's gonna be like the PA's not gonna work. There's like people are gonna fall off the stage and break a leg. I mean, something's gonna happen.
Something
that's gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe this. But we're going to do the best we can do to try to make it the best we can do.
And then Berm Donor says, what's up, Brian and Jay?
What's up?
My nephew Noah and I just got home from vending the Gettysburg Reptile Expo. Can't wait to come up and bring some goodies. I'll be listening while I'm packing.
Yeah, so we were talking about you earlier, dude, about your berms and about, like next year that you're going to crush it with pied berms so that I can get a ridiculous high white pied berm from you. But like I had mentioned, we also are going to grab a few more berms from you this year. That'll be great for educational shows and future expansion for the zoo. So we're really excited about the new additions, new animal ambassadors, and it's coming from nobody better than you. So I appreciate you, brother.
Scottish Rob says, I don't have the money for bail with the Putz Chandler being around.
What?
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Oh, Scottish Rob obviously would not like
Scottish Rob. You gonna throw fisticuffs? Is that what you're trying to say?
He's gonna.
You ain't throwing fisticuffs, mister.
Yeah, not at our place.
No, you can do it anywhere else, like
in the parking lot,
Best Buy.
whatever. Parking lot, whatever. You meet down the street at the Hardee's.
Yeah, Best Buys don't open till like 11:30 nowadays, so you could do it in the parking lot anytime.
Parking lot there, but yeah,
not at AnimalCon because we'll be fighting. Everybody will be fighting.
Yeah, no, we got to keep everybody on. We don't. It's an opportunity for the reptile. Fish, animal world, bugs, all that type of
to show our true colors of good.
To show how good we can be to one another and as a community and join together in that community. So
put your differences aside.
Yeah, so I think I think it's going to be really important. The
thing is, guys, is we have a lot more in common than we have not in common, right? We all love reptiles. We all love animals. We all want to see the environment be taken care of. Let's focus on that stuff for this show and preaching our messages, not fighting.
Amen.
Amen, brother.
Amen. Preach it.
Preach. The Atrocious came back to say, went to Repticon, surprised to see there were more invertebrates.
Okay.
Some real cool beetles were there, and Josh's Frogs helped me get over my plant fear.
Ooh,
so now I have live plants in my cressy cage. Why, you have a plant fear?
So let's look up, what's the plant fear called?
Oh, is there a plant phobia?
There's got to be a plant phobia.
There's got to be.
I wonder what it's called. Plant phobia. No, that's ants.
I didn't even mean to do that.
That's ants.
Damn, dog.
I guarantee you there's that.
No,
botanophobia. Yeah,
like botanophobia. An intense fear of plants. believe that plants are harmful and dangerous, and so avoid them. Severe cases can cause symptoms of anxiety and affect daily life.
Yeah, I would imagine if you're afraid of plants, it would be hard to live your life. There's a lot of plants out there.
Yeah, like you're trying to walk outside and you're like just grass, you know?
Yeah, it's like, So
I never knew that, Latrocious. That's cool. Thanks for teaching us.
I'm glad that you are over your fear, and good for Josh's frogs.
Oh, you'd be so scared of my house. My whole house is plants right now.
Josh's frogs, I'll air my dirty laundry. I can air my dirty laundry on the podcast.
I smell it from here, dude. Yeah.
Exactly. I was surprised that they didn't sponsor AnimalCon.
Yeah.
So I talked to Josh.
Especially because of the relationship. You know?
Yeah, I talked to Josh about it, and he said it just wasn't right for him. I don't know exactly what that means. Like, why wasn't it right for you? I think it would have been a great opportunity. He's a very forward-thinking. Josh is a very forward-thinking guy.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit surprised he was antiquated on this one, because I was trying to tell him, like, listen, the future is going to be in social influencing. ZoomEd, by the way, shout out to ZoomEd. They're one of our main. So we have two main sponsors for the show, ZoomEd and Rodent Pro. Thank you both for your very generous sponsorship. Also, we have others like Zen Habitats, Custom Cages, Tarantula Cribs,
Love your guys' stuff, too.
Timberline, Sice. I'm going to miss some. I apologize in advance. There's some other sponsors as well. So we appreciate everyone that's sponsoring the show. But I really thought Josh would be a great sponsor.
Does he sponsor other events, like other
No, I guess he doesn't.
That's
is
the one thing
weird,
I would wonder. You know?
Yeah, maybe just doesn't sponsor things, which is weird, because they're a very profitable company. One of probably the more profitable reptile supply companies around. Dude. So it's a little bit surprising that I talked to him and his team on the phone, and I shouldn't air this on public, but they just graciously turned me down. So hopefully next year they'll come on and they'll
see what it's all about.
Yeah, they'll see the importance. I wish they would just come down to the event even and just see what it's about.
Yeah.
And then maybe next year
people
join
love
on
them
as
there
a sponsor.
too.
So, but,
Cody says, "Is Barczyk doing a magic show at the con?"
I think they are actually. I think they are
so
going
excited,
to. I know that they're bringing their main bird, but I'm not sure. So I will find that out. I definitely want there to be a bird tricks. I don't know how long they would need, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, a half hour, whatever. But I do want to schedule that in 100%. Yes.
Dude, so many people are like, that thing looks just like Mike, dude. It's so good. You're beat, Mike.
Tingle. What's ironic is that Jay's name is Tingle, not you, Jay. The other
one, Jay
the
Tingles.
Other Jay Tingle. And then Mike is a Tingle from Zelda. That is,
and they're friends, which is great. It just works
and
out.
That's how Jay. Or is that how?
That's how Mike
came
that's
to
how
work
Mike got us. Yeah.
Jay worked with Mike at
PetSmart,
and then Jay started working here, and then he got Mike to come work here. So it's all part of the plan.
Yeah, it's the universe.
It's the universe bringing us together. And Zelda, I appreciate you for making this happen.
Thank you. Ricardo says, "Hey Brian, just bought a boatload of palmettos in various morphs to breed. Amel, Anuary, Scaleless, Gold Dust, Butter. Want them wholesale in a couple of years?"
Well, listen, always reach out to us. I mean, I don't know where we're going to be a couple years from now with BHB and that
life
world, but
general,
but certainly, stay in touch with us. You never know what's happening. Ironically enough, when we've talked about like kind of moderating the breeding groups, Lori has mentioned that she wants to keep palmettos because she personally likes them the most.
Cool,
so when you have Lori at least on the side, there's a good chance that we might be interested. So, but if it was this year, I would say 100%. 2 years from now, life could be a lot different, and I may not be buying, to resell. I don't know, but I might be. I don't know.
We just don't
happen.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many moving parts, and we have to see how things play out in the next few months.
Brother Clint says, "Hi guys, love the pod tonight. I was just thinking of you, brother."
I know.
When Brian said amen to me before, I was like, "Where's Brother Clint, dude?"
We got to get a drop. Can we get?
Oh, that's a great idea. An amen drop. I can do that.
Brother Clint, you gotta send us. Send Jay
an email. Send me an email. I'll text you tonight, Clint, and then send me an email of your voice.
Just going like amen. Amen. We'll do that drop every time.
Every day.
Just have it. Yeah. Amen, brother.
I love it, dude.
Absolutely love that, man.
Latrocious comes back and says, No. I'm just afraid of killing them. LOL. And I have now adopted Latrocious as a pseudonym. I made stickers for AnimalCon. Stop.
Sweet. That is awesome. I love it. That's super cool. And that makes a little more sense. I have no doubt that there are botinophobes out there for sure. So, but I kill plants. I can't keep plants alive either. So
I'm trying right now. I have a project going on with 3 carnivorous plants. And it's the scariest thing. Every day I wake up, I'm like, please don't be dead.
Yeah.
They're not so far, so we got a month in.
Are they like pitcher plants?
I got a pitcher plant, a sundew, and a Venus flytrap.
Oh, I love. When I was a kid, I was like maybe 8, 9 years old, and I got a Venus flytrap.
Exciting.
That was one of the coolest things. You should put like little hamburger in it, like flies.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you could do like little pieces of hamburger.
Get the hell out of here.
Little pieces of hamburger. You can actually feed them.
That's awesome.
I mean, just to see it like close down and. I mean, it was one. It didn't live that long. I don't know if there's how long they live in general, but we killed it.
Oh, they're very difficult to keep alive. I'm sure they can live a long time, but it's so rare because they're such a specialized. I mean, the reason they can eat animals as a plant is because their environment's so specialized that they needed that to survive. So if you don't replicate it perfectly, it's dangerous. But
yeah, I do love carnivorous.
I'll take a picture. I'll show you when tomorrow or something.
Dope, man. We should get that at some at the Reptarium.
I would love it. Too.
I would love to do more live like plants outside of exhibits.
I agree. I think that would be really cool, and especially with the way Universal Rock is, like you can make that happen. You could build planters into the wall and then droop pothos down. You know?
Yeah.
We should do that.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I'm sure Jess would too. Scottish Rob says, years of jiu-jitsu, not fists, just a long, hard nap to help teach lessons, LOL, and meant somewhat tongue-in-cheek. We appreciate you, Rob. That's funny.
That's
long, hard nap.
Yeah, just, go to sleep. Go to sleep.
That's what you got to do right in the ear, right?
Yeah, just like, go to sleep. You're fine. You'll be fine. Just like, does the dead fish on the floor for a few minutes and then wakes up.
It's scary if you really choke somebody out.
I really wanted to do jiu-jitsu, I don't,
it's great for your mind too.
Yeah, I watch it on TV, obviously, and I've rolled a couple times. In particular, I tell this story a couple times. I don't know if you've ever heard this, Jay, but there was this guy. Ironically enough, his name was Clint, and he lived next door to my hockey buddy Bernsey, that played for at the time the Minnesota Wild. Then he played for San Jose. Now he's actually. Did you hear he got traded?
Carolina, right?
He got traded to Carolina.
Yeah, because your buddy was like, or who was it, Brian?
Oh, yeah. He was
like
not
super
happy.
pissed.
He was pissed, man. He was pissed, man. So, so when Bernsey played for Minnesota Wild, his next door neighbor was a guy named Clint, who was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like 5th degree back, whatever it was. Yeah. But he literally would corner like Randy Couture. No, like at the time, it was like he would be in the corner of Randy Couture, and so I rolled with Clint a couple times. Obviously, he
fold you up a bit.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's ridiculous. But the one thing I'll never forget. Now, Bernsey's a professional athlete, right? Yep. Professional, 6'8". Professional athlete. Clint's like my size, and Clint literally, get this, dude. Bernsey's sitting on his butt. He goes, okay, sit on your butt. He goes, Clint sits on his butt.
Yes.
Bernsey's behind him. He goes, put me in a rear
naked choke,
as tight as you can get. And then tap when we start. He goes, I'm going to tap when we start. Literally 30 seconds later, Bernsey was armbarred.
Yep, dude.
Armbarred.
Yep.
From a professional athlete having this guy in a rear naked choke locked in. And 30 seconds later, he armbarred him.
In a heavy contact sport athlete, too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Bernsey's a strong dude.
Dude,
man.
it's just it's like technique beats everything. Because if you know how to fold the human body properly, it doesn't matter because your muscles don't work against themselves.
And they're so explosive. That was the thing. Like as soon as he tapped, he like exploded out of that thing, grabbed his arm, flipped him on, armbarred him, and Bernsey was tapping literally within 30 seconds.
That's awesome.
And I was just like, I mean, it's not like me doing it. Like I'm not a professional athlete, but I rolled with Bernsey and I rolled with Clint. Both toyed with me, I mean, obviously.
Fold you up a little bit.
But it was cool.
It is cool.
It's like a game of chess, right?
That's exactly
it's a game of chess. Like they're always thinking, what is this guy going to do? And when he does this, what can I do this to make this go down? So I don't disagree that Scottish Rob would put anybody to sleep, So I'll stay on your good side, Scottish Rob.
Yeah, I'll meet you at Best Buy. We'll do it. We'll do it together.
We're going to AnimalCon, me and you, baby.
Yeah.
It's going to be the main event.
Clistia says, I really wish I can go to AnimalCon. Hopefully next year. I hope you guys have an awesome time. We'll be missing you.
Yeah, we will miss you, and I hope you will. I realize that it's times are a little bit tight. I mean, obviously travel is expensive right now. Whether you're flying or driving, it's expensive. It's not a cheap weekend. I get it, and I feel bad. I wish it wasn't so expensive to travel right now and to stay at hotels and stay at. We got the resort as cheap as we could get it. It's normally $225 a night. We got it down to $150, $59 or whatever. that's the best we could do. Which when we started negotiating with that, I've stayed at that place. We've stayed at that place many times, and I always pay $225 a night. Yeah. When we started, they said that the cheapest they would go is $189, and then we got them down to $159. I know that's still not cheap, but in Orlando, you can't even stay at a Best Buy Best Western for $150.
Well, as I say, the last time we were in Florida, and this is going to be like that because it's summer, so it's bumping vacation time, and like. I mean, literally staying like they cheap, like what is it? Red Roof Inn was like $200 and something.
Yeah, it was literally. I think that there was one hotel we stayed at that one like down in Miami.
Yeah. It
was like $280 a night, and it was literally like a Red Roof Inn.
Yeah. It was just like a motel.
It was like a motel. It was like outside entrance, doors with. I mean, it was not a nice room at all.
No.
Although remember the guy was from.
He loved you, man.
He was from
Barbados or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
It was Barbados, and he was a fan, and we FaceTime his
My favorite part
Barbados.
that night is we were really tired, all of us. We've been going for a bit. And I remember you were like, I hope I can get some sleep. Me and Noah are sitting in the room editing, and it's just planes and trains through the whole night.
The thing. Yeah, we paid like almost. Yeah, it was almost $300, per room. We had 2 rooms, and it was right next to like a train station
and an airport,
and it was just like so loud and
so. I'm thinking, like every time a train or plane passes by, I'm like, Brian's having a fit right now. But I think you actually did sleep.
I actually slept pretty well. I did hear stuff, but it never like fully woke me up, and I got a decent.
And that's even in the vlog. It's one of the Florida vlogs. The last time we went, you can watch it, and me and Noah are like giggling. We're like, "Is that a plane and a train?"
Yeah,
it's so good.
But yeah, that's just the way hotels are down there. But so I'm sorry that it's expensive, and but I hope that the event will be memorable enough to be worth it for everybody.
I agree. And I think that is all I got.
That's it. So if anyone else has anything else, we can hang out for another 20, 30 minutes. I'll be happy to chat with you guys. Like I said, we can talk about some other things, but if you have other stuff, let's go.
Rock Bottom says, we're having a new expo in Orlando, and I'd really like to work with you. Longtime fan. It's the BA Animal Expo. Can we get in touch? We'll see you at the con.
Yeah, I mean, definitely get in touch. It just depends on my schedule. Obviously, my schedule is super beat right now. But if it turns out to where I can come down and hang out, I certainly will. Be happy to do it. Please come to AnimalCon as well. Bring your brochures and pass them out to people. I mean, I have no problem with you promoting your show at our show. We want to, be good for the whole community. And then if we can get down there, listen, I like going down to Orlando. I love going down to Florida. I definitely want to make some trips down this winter, just to get out of the weather. You know what I mean? Last winter, we didn't really do as many trips as we normally do this last winter, and I don't know why. Do you remember why? What did we do? I think we were only out of town like maybe once all winter long.
We went to Florida.
Yeah, we went to Florida.
Twice.
Was it twice? Yeah, I think it was
because we went for Beast, and then we went by ourselves.
Yeah,
we might have even went 3 times to Florida. But I don't remember exactly. And then we went to a few Honestly, it was really because of doing Beast stuff.
I think Beast kind of screwed us up a lot.
Because we had weeks that we we probably would have traveled multiple times that we went to North Carolina.
Yeah, went to North Carolina.
I bet you that's what it was. Because literally from January 1st till March, we were doing Beast stuff pretty much.
Yeah, we were. It seemed like every other week we were heading down to his place. And hopefully I hope we can do more with him. We haven't heard anything else from him in a bit. So I hope that we can.
I'm sure when we are needed, we will be called.
It's interesting. I mean, his crew calls me all the time for various things. And one of his production guys was up at the Reptarium 2 weeks ago.
Literally the other day, yeah.
2 weeks ago he was up, or it was maybe last weekend.
It was the last podcast.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago he was up. So we're really in touch with those guys, but they just haven't required my assistance with anything as of yet. But hopefully there will be something cool coming down the pike with them. So, but I was gonna say that's the other thing I don't know is we'll talk a lot more about the expansion. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to release a video sometime next week. We shot something this week about it.
Oh, cool.
A little bit. And so I don't think I'm going to wait till the big news comes. So I'm going to have some relatively big news coming, hopefully, if everything goes well, in about a month. But I think we're going to talk about the general idea of what's happening next week, probably in the vlog. So you guys get a pretty good understanding. But my point is that if this expansion is happening, which it appears that it is in route to happen now, that'll be interesting because I don't want to leave when cool shit's happening. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like if we're building the Stingray tank this week, I'm not going to be like, I'll be in Florida. You know what I mean? So that'll be an interesting thing because it's going to be fever pitch. The timeline has crunched together to where, it's going to be pretty crazy. I'll tell you guys, I don't care that I'll share some of it now. If everything goes well and keeps going the way it's going, I initially thought it was going to be 12 to 18 months before we would be open. Our goal is to be open by next June.
Wow. Huge.
Next June. So there's going to be a lot going on that we don't want to miss here, right? Because every day there's going to be something amazing happening, and I want to be a part of every minute of those days. That being said, we're going to be down in Garland, Texas, quite a bit building, exhibits for the zoo. So yeah, we'll just have to play it by ear, see what happens.
All right. We got Atrocious comes back and says, well, now I feel lucky because I'm just going to drive every day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's nice. We will have quite a few Florida people. I think as we get closer to the event, I think more Florida people will probably buy tickets, and we'll actually start to consolidate our efforts in advertising more within a relatively 3, 4, 5 hour driving range as we get closer, where people can actually drive and not have to actually spend the night at the hotel. Don't get me wrong, hotel rooms matter to us because we are on the hook for X amount of hotel rooms. So to give you guys a real quick overview of what happens when you're doing an event is that when you book the hall, you have to guarantee rooms, right? So like they're not even as interested in you paying for the hall. They're more interested in you bringing people that book their hotel, right? That's what they want. So they basically, depending on the size of the conference, there's a minimum rooms that you have to book. Right now, we're less than halfway to our booked room lot that we need, right? And so if we don't book those rooms, we have to pay for those rooms out of our own pocket. So I hope we can, in the next month we book the other half of the rooms that we have to commit to. So that's probably the scariest thing that's on the docket right now. Obviously ticket sales are one thing, but more so as the hotel rooms is going to be, pretty important to us.
And then I got Stefan said, just trying to support the channel. So we appreciate you, brother.
Thank you so much, Stefan. I appreciate you.
And then Sherry threw $5. I do not see a super chat. If I see one, I will come back to it. And that's what I got for now.
Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you. So yeah, basically, like I said, I'm starting to let a little bit of the
cat out the bag.
Cat out of the bag.
Got a couple of little dander.
Yeah, little things. Like I said, we're probably going to do a video on it next week just to kind of start to show. But listen, my goal, I've said this, to a couple people recently. It's like, and I think Jay, knows this because he knows me as just about as much as any human being on the planet right now. It's like there's only 3 things in life that I really ever care besides family. Of course, family is always going to be, the most important thing in life. Family and friends, I should say, people that you love, let's say, are always the most important thing in life. But besides that, there's only 3 things that I ever really think about, right? And that's animals, social media, and business. That's all I ever really think about. And that's maybe why I can be successful in some things is that I'm so focused on just the things that matter to me, right? Like I'm not like, I like to do this,
or like football, or watching the game.
I can't do this because I got to go to I don't mind going to a baseball game or a football game sometimes.
You're not tied to it.
I don't really care. If the football's on, I could watch it or not watch it. I'm not gonna. And it goes for every single hobby. It doesn't matter to me. Like nothing matters to me. I think of social media, YouTube mainly, but I'm also a student of Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And then of course I love business. I love just learning about business, how to run business, how to, optimize, every part of business. And I'm learning more every single day about that type of stuff. And I'm sure that I'm going to be a much better businessman next year than I am this year. And then, lastly it's just animals. And that's not in that order by any chance. They're all in the same order. The thing that's lovely about my obsession of social media, animals, and business is that they all coincide with one another, right? Like my obsession with them all complement each other, right? I don't have a social media if I don't have animals. I don't have the zoo if it's not for the social media, and I don't have all my businesses if it's not for the animals and the social media. So it's like the three work, in tandem with one another to make success, right? And so so that's why it's an exciting time right now, because we're embarking on an adventure that I can't wait to share the entire thing with you guys. That is it's something that most people could never imagine that they could do. I mean, like what we're going through right now is like a once in a lifetime type of opportunity. And like I said, you'll know more about that as time comes. But I want to create, I've said this, the Reptarium I think is very special. I think it's magical. I think it's amazing. But it is still a small personal reptile zoo, right? Even though it's millions of dollars to open, and animals and all that type of stuff, still, it's not like, the Detroit Zoo or whatever, and not that I'm ever going to be able to be on that level where I have 200 employees and this giant organization, but if I can do this expansion and some of the other things that we're talking down the road, we go from like kind of like mom and pop's reptile zoo to like an establishment that is actually like really
recognized, right?
Yeah, like recognized as like a staple of metropolitan Detroit and or any other place that we do it across the country. And that's really an exciting time for me. You know what I mean? I think, it's scary. That's the fear part I talked about earlier in the vlog. You got to be afraid to be doing it right. And it's just exciting to be involved. And I can't wait to the thing I find that's going to be interesting from the social standpoint, and I'm very interested in how this goes, is that people, a social as a whole love building projects, right? Like whenever we built the zoo or we've
even
done
a DIY little project.
Yeah. People love watching it. I love watching it.
Me too.
I love
it's my
watching
favorite videos to make.
Yeah,
too.
the stuff that I watch online oftentimes is Paul Cafaro or Joey from King of DIY or Serpent Design or Ed the pond guy or
Professor.
Greg Woodstock. I love the builds of all that type of stuff. So we're gonna have this massive
almost a year of building.
Yeah,
stuff,
6 months if it goes well, 6 or 7 months if it now it's compressed into a much tighter time. Where every day there's going to be like a tremendous amount of action going on, and every day, because this 12 to 18 month project is potentially going to be compressed. That means every day there's going to be massive differences. You know what I mean? We might have multiple things going on at the same time. And that's going to be really impressive. It's going to be really amazing. And I can't wait to actually share that experience with you guys. So I'm interested from a social standpoint, how people are going to follow that. Is that going to really blow our channel up and make people really want to see what's going on? And then the other side is that we're going to be bringing fish into and some other mammals as well, but mainly the fish audience. And can I gain respect from the fish people, in the fish audience, to not just be a reptile guy, but be a fish and reptile guy,
right,
and have that audience hopefully grow from that standpoint. So there's all kinds of facets that I think about when I think about what we're doing with this expansion. Not none bigger than providing an experience that you can't get anywhere else.
Right.
In a level of experience that you can't get anywhere else. And so, that is obviously first and foremost. And then beyond that, I think about, the social side. How is that going to impact? What's that going to look like? Again, Jay, myself, Noah, by then maybe someone else will be on our production team. How are we going to tell that story every day?
Yeah.
Where it'll be
fun, though.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun to kind of share. And again, you got to remember when we do this, just like when we did Reptarium 1, Reptarium 2.0, and now this, is like it's a history for me. It's a diary for me. And my kids and my grandkids and they're my grandkids one day are going to look back and say, oh my God, I can watch
our family business be built.
Yeah, built.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's a crazy thing. Like imagine if the owners of Dairy Queen had a vlog to show the first Dairy Queen being built, right?
Exactly.
Like, that's cool. You know?
And so so there's so many things that are exciting about it, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
And you know, there's sometimes it's like hard for me to sleep at night because I just think about.
You just like want to get to, it's like Christmas, right? You're like, I just want to get to friggin' Christmas.
Yeah, let's go.
Unwrap the gifts already.
Go, you know, but you know, at the same time, there's still
patience is a virtue, right?
Yeah, there's still work to be done before we can get to the point where we're there. And unfortunately, though, there's moving parts that can't slow down, and some things that have to slow down. You know, and that's just the way it is. So it's there's a lot going on, and it's interesting that this convergence of you know, AnimalCon / expansion is happening at the exact same time.
Yeah, it's very
on
weird.
top of being in the busiest time of the year we have at the Reptarium.
And I mean, BHB, my God, technically.
BHB's super busy because we got eggs, we got hatchlings, and then all of a sudden we've got, you know, Reptariums. I mean, it's bonkers at the Reptarium. I mean, it's like not only are we sold out when we're open to the public, but I mean, now it's like, you know, during the off season, it's like pretty much Friday, Saturday, Sundays book solid.
Yeah.
But then Monday through Thursday, we got a couple events here and there. But
every day is like
every
full.
Day is like from 10 o'clock in the morning till the. It's like we're.
And I mean, Zoo to Use are leaving at 8:30.
Yeah, they're leaving.
You know
what
I mean? Because I get here at 8, and I'm like going upstairs. I'm like, what are y'all doing here, man?
They're like, yeah. I mean, it's bonkers.
I usually walk around naked the first couple hours at the Reptarium. Now I can't.
Yeah, now we gotta have clothes.
We got girls there and stuff. I don't know what
I still do, but
yeah, but that's because you're the boss, man.
I'm the boss. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing this morning?
Yeah. What's up, everybody?
What's going on? Just getting myself.
Yeah, I'm just getting just flexing.
Just getting my naked time in, you know.
I did get Sherry's super chat.
Yeah.
She says, hey, Brian and Jay, I can't wait for AnimalCon. Also, I'm setting up my reptile artwork at my first ReptileCon this week or in Daytona, so it will be a fun couple of weeks.
That's
Congratulations.
Awesome.
I can't wait to see
awesome. And Sherry, I wonder if Sherry's going to be at AnimalCon is because I know that Brian has said that we've got some artists that are going to be coming. So I'm hoping Sherry is one of them because I think that'll be a really cool thing to have. Just some of the booths with art in them. I think it's going to be really nice, you know.
And then Stefan came back to just throw some high five, some love.
Some Czar.
Some Czar. Czar is New Zealand? Where is Czar?
I think it's South Africa, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think you are right.
South Africa.
Yeah, he says it right here.
Oh, yeah.
And he came back to say, hi, Brian. I run a small PC shop, and animals is my life from South Africa.
I wonder what part of South Africa.
Certificate.
I can't wait to get. I mean, Jay, when we go next year, you're going to be like blown away.
I know, dude. I'm going to cry. I'm not even kidding you.
Next level. I mean, it's so cool, and it's going to be amazing.
I can't wait to get that dust on my boots.
I know you never get it off, man.
Tiffany says, I know a concrete guy. We will be happy to help. Is that for the expansion or for the Best Buy brawl that's going down outside AnimalCon?
Yeah, I'm not sure which.
Bury you in some concrete.
Good. As long as we got concrete. Whenever you have a concrete guy.
Lights, camera, ants in the building.
Oh, sweet.
Says, what's your overall goal with AnimalCon, Brian?
So first off, we're super excited about, you know, lights, camera, ants,
dude.
Well as
I'm just excited about ants, dude.
Yeah, and Ants Canada. I mean, we've got both who I consider those two accounts the best ant accounts in the world, and I've been a huge fan of both of those guys for a long time. And like we had mentioned, I can't wait to talk to you in Orlando about ants because
we've been bugging Lori for years about ants.
In the expansion, we have to have some ant exhibit. It's got to happen. Kids love ants. It would be such a great exhibit if somehow we can have ants like that are moving through tubes or something. Like, I don't even know what we can do with ants.
So the leaf cutter ants through the tubes is the move.
Yeah.
Dude.
So
really
again, you're going to have to educate me because I don't know crap about them, but I need help with it. And the goal of AnimalCon is pretty simple to me. It's literally just putting on an event that is absolutely an amazing experience for fans and creators alike, right? And bringing the community into the best light that we possibly can. You know, sometimes we tend to have, you know, okay, ants are over here, tarantulas over here, reptiles are over here, fish are over here. Bringing all those people together into one place and trying to, you know, it's what I've said. What I'm going to be amazed about is in 2023. I'm going to see collaborations from people that met at our event.
Yep.
You know, people that didn't even know each other that just, you know, create a relationship and will have a friendship for the next 20, 30 years. That'll come from this event. And I'll see that on YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram, you know, these collaborations of friendships that were born at our event. And I think that just strengthens our whole, you know, the whole hobby of keeping animals as a whole, no matter what the animal is. And then, like I said, you know, I want we are going to most likely lose money, right? Because I've wanted to do an event that was so fun for everybody.
Right.
So rather than cutting corners and doing the bare minimum, I put a lot of my own money out to make the event really, really fun. And what I mean by that is we could have 1 or 2 hospitality rooms for creators, but we're going to have 4.
Which is crazy.
And a green room. So 5 rooms just for creators to hang out in, have snacks, have drinks, chill with each other, just have a great time. The after parties. We didn't have to have after parties. I mean, most events don't have after parties. Those events, I've got to hire a DJ. I've got to have
security.
I've got to have security. I'm paying for literally drinks at those shows. It's going to be free drinks at these things. I mean, think about putting on a wedding. How much a wedding costs? Well, we're doing 3 of them.
Yeah.
In a row.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And receptions.
I don't drink personally, but other people are going to drink, and they're going to drink. Some people are going to drink $30 worth of beverages that I have to pay for.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to have a great time. And so that's really it. That's what my goal is for the event. Obviously, like I said, I think it's financially going to be a hit for me. The question is, how much am I going to lose? But I do think it's an investment in the future. There's a couple things that I really hope do come out of this if this starts to be a success. Is number one, the creators are paying their own way right now. I'm paying my own way, obviously. I hope that if this becomes a success in 2, 3, 4 years, that I can at least start paying for creators, at least hotel rooms, if not travel on top of it. I'm not looking to make money on this event long term. I hope it will be a profitable adventure at some point. And then if it is profitable, then we can throw that back into to help creators not have to go into their own pocket, which we appreciate so much that creators, I talked to our guy Armin the other day. He said, it's going to cost him a couple $1,000s to go to AnimalCon out of his own pocket to support us. And that's what so many of our creators are doing. I mean, obviously Ants Canada is coming from the Philippines, and I think that they're flying 4 people in. On their own dime,
we appreciate that more than you know,
and we appreciate every single, whether you're driving 4 hours or 3 hours or flying from, we got, Peter Birch is flying from Australia, Dingo's flying from South Africa. We do have some tickets that were sold from Europe, that people are flying from Europe as ticket, not even as vendors. They're just coming there because they're going to be over 100 creators.
And you guys know, you guys watch animal content. You don't just watch Brian Barczyk. You're watching Ants Canada. You're watching Joe, King of DIY. Like you usually, if you're into animals, you're into a lot of animals. So that's what's so cool is that, like Brian said, usually you're going to an insect show or a reptile show or a bird show. Now it's everybody here that you love,
Yeah, and I mean, I think that, we have a bunch of the meetups where we have several more than several, a couple dozen meetups where the people have literally paid for like 12 meetups.
Right.
So that means that they're there to see 12 different creators
that they would never see in the same place,
and they're all going to be in the same place, and it's going to be cool. And it's been cool to see the creators. Which, by the way, Lights, Camera, Ants. I'm excited. I'm going to announce this right here. This is world-breaking news today.
Power goes out.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, later. Yeah, thanks for
joining us. But we are going to reach out to every single creator this week, and there's going to be a coupon code for every single creator that they can start promoting with a coupon code where someone can save a few bucks on the show. And that'll happen this week. So
that's awesome.
You're gonna hear from everybody.
You get a coupon code.
Everyone gets. You will have your own coupon code that you can shout out, and people can go and hopefully what will happen with that is not only will the people that use your coupon code will save a little bit of money, but also probably book a meetup for you, which is going to help you because we're splitting the cost of the meetups with our creators.
Perfect.
So every time we book a thing, our creators make money, which will hopefully offset the cost that you had to put out of your pocket to come to our event.
Beautiful. Rock Bottom and Up says, let's get in touch. We can make a deal. We have 344 tables and would absolutely love to work with you. Excited for the expansion. Nice. B&A Animal Expo.
Sweet. That's a big 344. Show. That's a big show, man. That's awesome, dude. Orlando, huh? Yeah, well, let's stay in touch, and obviously we'll see each other at AnimalCon, and let's see what we can do, man. And by the way, even you can even reach out if you decide you'd like to have a booth at the show to promote your show. That we're more than happy to do work on that too. So reach out to me; we can help you either way.
Jimmy says, "Hey Brian, I was really hoping to bring my brother to the Reptarium before his final days arrive, but we cannot do it. We really appreciate your prayers."
So sorry,
my prayers
man.
are with you too.
That's really hard, man. I'm so sorry for you and your family, man. I know how it feels. I lost a brother a few years back, so it's very, very difficult. There's no doubt about that. So it doesn't, it's just a tough thing, man. And I miss Lee every day. And he didn't ever get a chance to see the Reptarium. And that's one of the things I really wish that could have happened, because I know he would have loved it, and just to see how we all the things that we've done, and it's really tough to not have that. So definitely thoughts with you, man.
And then Stefan says, what are your scariest snakes that you've dealt with?
It's really funny. I don't think that I ever think of any scary snakes. I think that there's like mental snakes.
Yeah, what's the most mental? I like that.
Mental is definitely black mambas and coastal taipans. Those two are, in my opinion, equally as sketchy.
I think there's the only two like most crazy deadly type snakes that I've never filmed.
Yeah, and either one of them filming is absolutely ridiculous.
I know. I can't wait.
Dude. They fly. Mambas are maybe a little bit more mental than coastal taipans, but either one of them. And again, I remember my buddy. I
know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
too.
Telling me that coastal taipans and black mambas, and he was one of the best. His name's Chris Smith. He's down in Queensland, Australia, and he's probably one of the best elapid handlers I've ever seen in my entire life. He has king browns and taipans and mulgas and you name it, and he's just absolutely mentally good with those snakes. I've seen him in super tight quarters handle coastal taipans that I would never hold in a large room, let alone in a room that you can't even back 3 feet up. I mean, literally, you can't, like, the cage is 3 feet from the wall, and he's pulling this 9-foot coastal taipan out that's just whipping around like crazy. And I remember him telling me that. He said, yeah, coastal taipans and black mambas are the two snakes that even the most experienced snake handler looks like an amateur when they handle.
And I've seen it too, because I think is that the dude that you filmed the video with, where it like comes flying out of the blue container? It's a TikTok that you've used a couple times. It's a black mamba that like you're raking it.
That was actually Michael. That was actually Mike Perry from South Africa.
I'm sure he's great too, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure he's great at handling, but looks like an amateur because it's just so nuts. Like the buckets flying everywhere, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I love that.
And of course, that was my buddy Ryan was there at that shoot. And just a few weeks later, he got killed at that exact place by a black mamba.
Crazy.
So, and that was a guy that worked with black mambas every single day for like 10 years, and he got bit by a black mamba at that place a few weeks after I was there at that video, and lost his life, unfortunately.
And then Tiffany says, all of the above on concrete. I'll also be free security. I move furniture all the time. I can move a person too. Also, rest in peace, Forrest. Rest in peace, Forrest.
Yeah, always rest in peace, man. Thank you, Tiffany. You're always great. I'm sure we'll be using your services at some point in the future. There's no doubt about that.
Help build the expansion. You can carry some logs and stuff.
Exactly. We'll get you over here, carry some 2,000-gallon aquariums into the.
You can move furniture.
Yeah, he can move this 14,000-gallon aquarium for us. Yeah. But no, guys, well, it's been great tonight. It's been great to be back. Like I said, next week we'll be back. We'll get Lori on with us. So it'll be Lori and I and Jay, and we'll have a great time. And like I said, look forward to a couple updates this week. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming, so I appreciate you. By the way, tomorrow's video, banger. You're going to want to see tomorrow's video, so definitely stay tuned for that. In the meantime, love you guys, and I appreciate it, and we will talk to you soon. Bye. Talk about 701.